Chapter 541. Kill them all. Outside the main hall of the Icebound Temple. Near the ruin once hidden by the main hall of the Icebound Temple, a point of bright light flickered. This bright light was unmistakably the illumination of the Ice-Snow Jade Pendant, a high-quality divine artifact. Looking into the vast space within the Ice-Snow Jade Pendant, one could see Zhongyao, True Phoenix, and Mulan, True God, their expressions filled with both worry and anxiety as they stared in the direction of the Icebound Temple. On Zhongyao's shoulder, even the little monkey that had always been cultivating within the Ice-Snow Jade Pendant had jumped out, joining the three in looking towards the Icebound Temple. The 9 Icebound Guardians were also by their side, all of them looking towards the main hall of the Icebound Temple. Behind them, within the endless space of the Ice-Snow Jade Pendant and the more hidden spatial treasures within it, there were countless people. Among these people were Yi Chen's parents, the Little Maid Tower Palace Master Yuan Li, Mu Yao Palace Master Mu Qingqing, Skyscraper Palace Master, and others. There were clansmen of the Yi, Bai, and Chen families of Qingyang City where Yi Chen was born, and even more so, countless martial artists and citizens of the entire Heavenly Wind Kingdom and the 13 Kingdoms of the South. Even from other realms, many martial artists were hiding within the Ice-Snow Jade Pendant. At this moment, everyone's faces were filled with worry. They had already heard the news within the Ice-Snow Jade Pendant that true gods from the minor spirit realm had indeed descended to the lower realm. Moreover, it was hundreds of true gods who had descended together. They had also heard news from the central region that these hundreds of true gods had descended between the central region and the far north. As a result, these gods swept across towards the south, sparing nothing in their path. A great calamity. These hundreds of true gods truly brought about a great calamity on the barbaric wilderness continent. Everywhere they went, countless cities were destroyed, countless martial artists and citizens of the barbaric wilderness continent who had not hidden were killed. Even many who were hidden inside spatial treasures were rooted out by these true gods and slain without exception. Blood flowed in rivers, and screams of anguish and death filled the skies. If it weren't for some who had hidden themselves exceedingly well, perhaps countless people across the barbaric wilderness continent would have perished. If it weren't for those who disseminated the news to the southernmost edges after these true gods had vanished, allowing many more to prepare early and hide deeply, it's likely that even more people would have perished in this great calamity. But even with hiding and preparation, no one knew what they would be facing next. Especially the people in the south. They had heard that those hundreds of true gods were heading directly southward. Judging by the timing of the message and the speed of the gods' advance, it likely wouldn't be long before these hundreds of true gods arrived in the southern region, turning everything upside down. Hundreds of true gods. It was unthinkable, let alone resisting them. Such a number of true gods had the power to destroy an entire lower realm continent, not to mention slaughtering them, martial artists like them. If they were captured by these gods, they would certainly be killed. Even though they were hiding inside the high-quality divine artifact Ice-Snow Jade Pendant, countless people were still extremely worried, terrified, with many children even starting to cry out of fear because of the nervous looks on the adults' faces. Chaos reigned within the countless spatial treasures of the Ice-Snow Jade Pendant. At the forefront of the crowd, True Phoenix looked at Zhongyao and Mulan True God and said, "Judging by the time, it won't be long before those true gods get here." As she spoke, her eyes were filled with hatred. She was well aware that the true gods who came from the lower realm were led by Qishao True God, true gods of the Flying Spirit Clan. The Flying Spirit Clan, along with the Vermilion Bird Clan, had destroyed the entire Divine Phoenix Clan, making them the blood enemies of her clan. Now, the Flying Spirit Clan had descended to wreak havoc on the barbaric wilderness continent. True Phoenix wished she could kill all of these true gods. But she was merely a true god of the fifth tribulation. Such thoughts were beyond her capability. She could join forces with Yi Chen, Zhongyao, and Mulan True God to kill a single Qishao True God. But facing hundreds of true gods, rumored to include even 8th tribulation true gods, their descent was a force she couldn't match on her own, let alone the full might of the Divine Phoenix Clan, which would require hundreds of true gods to counter. What to do? What to do? The endless hatred was matched by a feeling of powerlessness. fueling the flames of True Phoenix's anger without an outlet. She was even more worried that those hidden inside the ice snow jade pendant and other spatial treasures from different places wouldn't be able to escape this great calamity. Those true gods are definitely coming for this place. They must be after the inheritance of the Icebound Temple's main hall. Mulan True God also spoke up. With the hall spirit revealing herself and ushering Yi Chun into the Icebound Temple, Mulan True God and others were aware of Qishao True God's initial purpose in this realm. The purpose behind igniting the Great War in the south was for the inheritance left by the lower God King of the Icebound Temple's main hall. Although Mulan True God knew that Qishao True God definitely lacked the ability to obtain it, this news still drew countless true gods from the upper realm, and they were utterly powerless against them. Mulan True God and True Phoenix even contemplated whether to evacuate the people from the Ice Snow Jade Pendant from this area first. Otherwise, once they were caught in the crossfire of hundreds of true gods, it was likely that even within the Ice Snow Jade Pendant, there could be great trouble. But this thought was fleeting and quickly abandoned by them, because they knew Jiang Yao absolutely didn't want to leave Yi Chun. Jiang Yao absolutely believed that Yi Chun could lead the 9 Tribulations true god out of the Icebound Temple. But time was running out. Those true gods were getting closer and closer to the southern heavenly realm. If it weren't for those true gods sweeping through and destroying major cities along the way, they might have already arrived here. In the end, Mulan True God and True Phoenix both looked towards Jiang Yao, waiting for her decision. The 9 Icebound Guardians and the little monkey all turned their gazes towards Jiang Yao as well. But Jiang Yao's starry, brilliant eyes weren't the least bit uncertain. She looked towards the Icebound Temple and enunciated clearly. Yi Chun said that the Ice Snow Jade Pendant can block the attacks of true gods. Yi Chun also said that he could surely lead the 9 Tribulations true god out. He will definitely come out. Just as the cries of the children in the Ice Snow Jade Pendant filled the air, as countless warriors waited with growing fear, and as True Phoenix and Mulan True God were extremely worried, amidst Jiang Yao's stubborn persistence, a mysterious trust was supporting her. All of them heard a thunderous boom. Even those hiding within the Ice Snow Jade Pendant, those hiding inside its countless spatial treasures, everyone heard the boom. Have those hundreds of true gods come to kill us? All the warriors hidden in the countless spaces within the Ice Snow Jade Pendant looked outside with utmost fear. No, it's not the sound of those hundreds of true gods coming to kill us. It's Yi Chun. Yi Chun has come out. At that moment of grave concern among those warriors, Jiang Yao's excited voice echoed throughout the entire Ice Snow Jade Pendant. Jiang Yao, True Phoenix, Mulan True God, the 9 Icebound Guardians, the little monkey. All their eyes saw amidst the earth-shattering rumble, atop the ruins of the Mammoth City above the main hall of the Icebound Temple. 4 divine lights suddenly emerged. Within those 4 divine lights, a young man with 3 figures appeared directly out of thin air above the ruins of the massive city. This young man was none other than Yi Chun, whom Jiang Yao had been waiting for, the one who had entered the main hall of the Icebound Temple, and the 9 Icebound Guardians, upon seeing the 3 figures behind Yi Chun, also called out with overwhelming excitement. It's Lord Bing Yi and others. Lord Bing Yi, Lord Bing Wu, Lord Bing Qi. They have come out, following Lord Yi Chun. Boom! Amid the voices of the 9 Icebound Guardians, Jiang Yao controlled the Ice Snow Jade Pendant and flew towards Yi Chun with everyone at top speed. Above the ruins of the huge city, Yi Chun immediately saw the Ice Snow Jade Pendant flying towards him, and saw Jiang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God and others flying out from it towards him. What happened? Could it be that those true gods have descended to the lower realm? Seeing the expressions of Jiang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God, Yi Chen's heart sank. After completing the inheritance, having met Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi, and having been led by the Hall Spirit to pay respects at the grave of the Icebound God King, he had hurriedly exited the Icebound Temple. Only the Hall Spirit remained guarding inside the main hall of the Icebound Temple. Yi Chun had not expected that the true gods from the minor spirit realm would actually come down to the lower realm, and so quickly at that. Whoosh! Yi Chun instantly flew towards Jiang Yao with Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi. Yi Chun. When Jiang Yao reached Yi Chun, she threw herself into his arms. And True Phoenix and Mulan True God also hurriedly informed Yi Chun about the arrival of the True Gods from the Flying Spirit Clan. Upon hearing that hundreds of True Gods from the Flying Spirit Clan had descended, including the existence of 8 Tribulations True Gods, and that even 6 and 7 Tribulations True Gods were numerous, Yi Chun's eyes narrowed sharply. When he heard that these True Gods had descended from the junction between the central region and the far north and had been slaughtering their way towards the barbaric wilderness continent, burning cities and lands, killing many people, Yi Chun's expression instantly turned grave. Without waiting for Yi Chun to give an order, Bing Qi, Bing Wu, and Bing Yi behind him stepped forward, with Bing Yi being the first to reveal a stern look on her face. Looking at Yi Chun, she declared, "Master, rest assured, no true god shall harm you, not to mention an 8 tribulations true god. Even if a lower god king were to come, I would dare to fight. Hundreds of true gods, the strongest being an 8 tribulations true god. Master, at your command, I will kill them all." Boom! As Bing Yi spoke, a snow-white divine sword appeared in her hand. The radiance emitting from this divine sword matched even the divine might of the purple blood divine sword, when its hidden restraints were fully unleashed, clearly revealing it as a heaven-reaching divine artifact. Find more chapters on novelbin.com. As the strongest fighter under the Icebound God King and the most beloved 9 Tribulations True God, who the Icebound God King had raised as a daughter, Bing Yi naturally possessed a heaven-reaching divine artifact. Bing Yi was confident that she could resolve this monumental crisis for her master. Yi Chun. Chapter 542-. A sword cuts across the wild savannah. When Bing Yi finished speaking, True Phoenix, Mulan True God, and Zhang Yao all looked at her in disbelief. They never imagined that this seemingly young girl would have such immense confidence. Could she be the 9 Tribulations True God that Yi Chun mentioned? Bing Yi hadn't fully revealed her aura yet, so Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God hadn't sensed the aura of a 9 Tribulations True God from her. However, from Bing Yi's words and the fearsome aura of the divine sword in her hand, they guessed Bing Yi's identity. As Bing Yi was speaking, Bing Wu and Bing Qi also stepped forward. "Master, we will all fight for you. We were powerful subordinates of the old master, and we are certainly not afraid of any true gods from the celestial spirit star." Seeing the respect and reverence Bing Qi, Bing Wu, especially Bing Yi had for Yi Chun, the 9 great ice guardians also took a deep breath. As guardians of the heavenly saint level, their status under the rule of the Divine King was vastly different compared to those true God-level guardians like Bing Yi. Of course, they knew how noble and terrifyingly powerful Bing Qi, Bing Wu, and Bing Yi were. They never expected that their Lord Yi Chun, in such a short time, would gain complete recognition from these 3 true God guardians, who willingly sought to fight on Yi Chun's behalf. It was apparent to the 9 ice guardians that Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi were absolutely obedient to Yi Chun, not just reluctantly following him because he was the heir. Hearing Bing Yi's words and seeing Bing Wu and Bing Qi also standing up, a resolute look flashed in Yi Chun's eyes. Good? These true gods of the Flying Spirit Clan have harmed the Divine Phoenix Clan, and I was already seeking to settle the account with them. Now that they have come to the barbaric wilderness continent to wreak havoc, I certainly can't spare them. Bing Qi, Bing Wu, Bing Yi. This time we will rely on you to exterminate all of them without leaving a single one. Yes, Master. Bing Qi, Bing Wu, and Bing Yi replied resolutely. Yi Chun then informed Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God about the identities of Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi. Following that, Yi Chun led Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi along with Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God, taking the Ice Snow Jade Pendant, flying toward the direction from which hundreds of true gods were approaching. In the Central Plains, the closest great empire to the south was the Great Qi dynasty. When Yi Chun first rushed from the south to the Central Plains, after crossing the boundary river between the south and the Central Plains, the first large city he saw, Dragon Abyss City of the Great Qi dynasty, had now become a complete ruin. The enormous city, spanning hundreds of miles, had buildings that seemed to have been uprooted and then violently smashed back onto the ground. All of them collapsed and broken. Even the huge bluestone city walls, reaching hundreds of feet high and stretching around the perimeter of Dragon Abyss City, had been completely destroyed and lay in ruins. Haha! There are still dozens of people hiding under the walls of Dragon Abyss City. Do they think they can escape our search? Boom! 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 Several figures flew up from the broken walls and followed up towards the army of true gods a few hundred strong in the distance. Among these figures, there were also the silhouettes of Qishao True God's 3 Tribulations True God incarnations. At that moment, a 5 Tribulations True God beside Qishao True God teased him. Qishao, you really are unlucky to have your true body destroyed even in the lower realm. This time, the young clan leader has personally come to snatch the treasure you talked about, to bloody kill so many people and destroy numerous cities along the way. You better be grateful to the young clan leader. Hearing this true god's words, Qishao True God said, Young clan leader, I am certainly grateful. However, there are a few more people I haven't killed yet, and my anger is far from quelled. As Qishao True God conversed with this 5 Tribulations True God, their army in front suddenly stopped. What's the matter? The true gods responsible for destroying Dragon Abyss City quickly flew into the main army of true gods in front. Upon flying in, they directly saw several figures in the distance of the sky, swiftly approaching them. Since descending to the lower realm, these true gods had only seen frightened and wailing figures everywhere. They had never encountered anyone daring to fly straight towards them, which naturally caused Qishao True God and the others to be startled. However, when they extended their divine senses and saw the figures flying from afar, Qishao True God's eyes widened. It's them, the 4 who killed my true body. The ones who killed your true body? Upon hearing Qishao True God's words, the other true gods looked at him in surprise. Could it be the remaining few of the Divine Phoenix clan and that young man you mentioned? Have they gone mad? Aren't they at most a 5 Tribulations True God at their strongest? And yet, they dare to appear directly in front of us. As the Flying Spirit Clan True Gods said this, they all burst into mocking laughter. Just then, the Flying Spirit Clan's 8 Tribulations True God young clan leader frowned. He noticed among the approaching figures, he could sense the realms of the others, including the 5 Tribulations True God and the 3 Tribulations True God Qishao had mentioned, as well as 1/6 Tribulations True God and 1/7 Tribulations True God, which surprised him slightly. But there was one girl whom he, as an 8 Tribulations True God, couldn't even sense her realm. This made the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan become more cautious. To be undetectable to him indicated a very high possibility that this person was of a higher cultivation than his, or otherwise, only a supreme treasure capable of concealing one's realm could evade his detection. Higher than his cultivation? He was an 8 Tribulations True God, and only a 9 Tribulations True God or a Divine King would have a higher realm than him. The young clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan refused to believe that this insignificant barbaric wilderness continent would hide a Divine King or a 9 Tribulations True God. It was noteworthy that even the upper realm's minor spirit realm only had a handful of 9 Tribulations True Gods. At this moment of doubt for the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan, Yichun, Zhongyao, the True Phoenix, Mulan True God, Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi, who had come from the distant horizon, had already instantly traversed countless distances and were about to fly right before them. The remnants of the Divine Phoenix Clan? Are you seeking death? A few powerful true gods, who were on good terms with Qishao True God, flew up directly from the group of Flying Spirit Clan true gods and called out to Yichun and the others as they approached. Upon hearing these true gods' voices, seeing the hundreds of Flying Spirit Clan true gods beside them, and then seeing the collapsed and burning ruins of Dragon Abyss City behind them, Yichun didn't say much. Instead, he narrowed his eyes and said to Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi beside him, "Take action! Take action!" The voices of Yichun had just reached the ears of the hundreds of Flying Spirit Clan true gods, and they thought they had heard wrong. The next moment, they saw 3 figures beside Yichun fiercely charging towards them. One of the figures directly transformed into a towering giant 9-headed serpent emperor. From the 9 heads of this 9-headed serpent emperor, a burst of peerless purple divine light was suddenly spit out, instantly attacking the few Flying Spirit Clan true gods who had spoken. Stay updated with Novelbin. Com. This flying spirit clan true god, who was on good terms with Qishao true god, was at the Five Tribulations true god realm. They actually didn't have the chance to react and were instantly killed by the peerless purple divine light spit out by the nine-headed serpent emperor. Thud, 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 thud. The corpses of these people instantly plummeted from the sky, and as they fell, they directly turned into nothingness, not even a trace of divine power remaining. This scene completely dumbfounded Qishao true god. It also thoroughly shocked all the other flying spirit clan true gods. A Seven Tribulations true god. This is a Seven Tribulations true god. Will take action. Hundreds of powerful true gods among the flying spirit clan flew up one after another, charging towards the three figures. As for the young clan leader of the flying spirit clan, he had been shocked for a moment by the words "take action" from Yi Chun, not expecting that the next moment, his subordinates would die at the hands of the opponent. This caused the complexion of the flying spirit clan's young clan leader to darken. He could kill the martial artists of the barbaric wilderness continent, and even members of the Divine Phoenix clan, but he definitely did not desire to see his own subordinates killed. Humph! I want to see what confidence you three have to dare to make enemies out of our hundreds of true gods. Boom! 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 As the flying spirit clan's young clan leader spoke, divine power on his body burst forth. Billowing divine power suddenly swept up thousands of feet high, and behind him, a pair of terrifying blood wings materialized. With the blood wings unfurled, the flying spirit clan's young clan leader, leading hundreds of true gods, charged towards Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi. Seeing the blood wings materialize on the young clan leader of the flying spirit clan and other flying spirit clan true gods, the true phoenix, Mulan true god, at Yi Chen's side, had her eyes turn red. They were reminded of the time when the entire Divine Phoenix clan faced the murderous assault of countless members of the Flying Spirit clan. Will also take action. With a loud cry, the true phoenix's body shifted form, transforming into a massive phoenix and charged towards the group of Flying Spirit clan true gods. Just as Mulan true god was about to take action, Yi Chen stopped both her and Zhang Yao. Let Bing Yi and the others deal with those powerful true gods first. The rest we will handle afterward. Of course, Yi Chen would not allow Zhang Yao to take risks, nor would he let the martial artists and people from the barbaric wilderness continent, who were inside the ice snow jade pendant that Zhang Yao carried, take any risks. With Bing Yi and the others taking action, Yi Chen had absolute confidence that they could annihilate all of these people. Boom! 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 As soon as the true phoenix transformed into her true form and attacked into the group of true gods, a large number of flying spirit clan true gods moved to kill the true phoenix. This is the remnant of the Divine Phoenix clan. Kill her. Among these flying spirit clan true gods were even two at the Six Tribulations true god level. As these flying spirit clan true gods moved to kill the true phoenix, as the flying spirit clan's young clan leader also led a sky full of true gods in an assault, and some true gods even charged towards Yi Chen and Zhang Yao, Bing Yi's aura suddenly exploded. This was the aura of a Nine Tribulations true god. With this explosion, the entire heaven and earth were instantly thrown into turmoil, and all the flying spirit clan true gods who had been shooting forward were, in an instant, completely immobilized in the void. And the flying spirit clan's young clan leader had an incredulous expression on his face. A Nine Tribulations true god. She really is a Nine Tribulations true god. Only now did the flying spirit clan's young clan leader finally understand why he had never been able to see through this young woman. It wasn't that the young woman had an artifact to conceal her realm, but because she was even more powerful than him, even absolutely top tier in the minor spirit realm. A Nine Tribulations true god. At this moment, countless members of the flying spirit clan realized that Yi Chen and his companions had not come here out of madness, but indeed had the confidence. Among them, there was a hidden Nine Tribulations true god powerhouse. As the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan was filled with disbelief, as countless true gods of the Flying Spirit clan were internally screaming while being controlled in the void, Bing Yi's voice echoed throughout the area. I act upon the command of my master, Yi Chen, to kill all of you. So all of you must die. Boom, 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 boom. In the moment that Bing Yi spoke, the divine sword in her hand drew a swift arc, coming out of its scabbard. In the sky, all the flying spirit clan true gods below the 5 tribulations level exploded on the spot with a series of bang bang bang. Without even witnessing Bing Yi's actual move, these lower-level true gods of the flying spirit clan were all instantly killed. Chapter 543-. The Ancient Clan Trembles. This is the legendary heaven-reaching divine artifact. My God. A 9 tribulations true god using a heaven-reaching divine artifact. Its divine might is unpredictable. When they saw Bing Yi unsheathe the divine sword, all the low-realm true gods on their side had their divine bodies exploded, instantly killed, and the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan was completely petrified, crying out in disbelief. Even though he was the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan, he didn't have a heaven-reaching divine artifact. The divine might of this heaven-reaching divine artifact was so terrifying it made his heart tremble with fear and astonishment. It wasn't only the Flying Spirit clan's young clan leader who was completely shocked. The remaining high-ranking true gods of the Flying Spirit clan, who hadn't been instantly killed, felt their hands and feet turn ice-cold. The several hundred true gods from the Flying Spirit clan who had come down to the lower realm this time, mostly were beneath the 5 tribulations true gods, with only a dozen or so being above the 5 tribulations. And now, all of these sub-5 tribulations true gods were instantly killed. Even the 3 tribulations true god incarnation that Qishao true god had cultivated with the spirit mirror divine body, and had led the others here, died again, dying with eyes wide open, without peace. This time, Qishao true god truly fell. He absolutely couldn't have anticipated that the descent of the Flying Spirit clan's true gods to the lower realm, instead of eliminating Yichun, Zhongyao, the true phoenix, and Mulan true god, would also directly result in the death of his lucky survivor of an incarnation. It led to the complete extinction of his divine soul between heaven and earth. He had only himself to blame. The dead Qishao true god, in his last moments, thought that he had brought this upon himself, and that he had caused his own death. With all the sub-5 tribulations true gods dead, the remaining high-ranking true gods of the Flying Spirit clan also went from being arrogantly invincible right after descending to the lower realm to a state of utter despair. A 9 tribulations true god holding a heaven-reaching divine artifact. Ah, how could they resist any further? What was left for them, perhaps, was only death. Bing Yi's action caused an instant mass death among the Flying Spirit clan's forces, and the surviving true gods were all terrified and their divine souls were shaking, while Yichun, Zhongyao, Mulan true god, and the true phoenix, who had also entered the battlefield, were filled with disbelief. They had considered Bing Yi's strength, but they had not foreseen that Bing Yi could be so powerful. With just a draw of the sword in her hand, she had resolved most of the enemy true gods. They remembered the words Bing Yi had said before. Bing Yi had promised that she would fight for Yichun, killing all the invaders, and surely, Bing Yi had the ability to do so. Bang, 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 bang. After instantly killing a large number of Flying Spirit clan true gods, Bing Yi immediately took control of all true gods, and those high-ranking true gods of the Flying Spirit clan, amidst their endless struggle, finally broke free. At that moment, all the remaining Flying Spirit clan true gods, even the young clan leader, had lost the will to fight anymore. The instant they broke free from the constraints, they blasted off towards the high skies above. They wanted to flee back to the minor spirit realm, back to the Flying Spirit clan. They no longer dared to fight, nor face Yi Chen's group where a 9 tribulations true god was present. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The last remaining dozen or so figures instantly blasted towards the high void, and even their divine energy burned wildly as they fled, using all their strength in the escape. Thinking of fleeing? Seeing the actions of these Flying Spirit clan true gods, Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi's eyes turned cold in an instant. They had promised Yichun to eradicate all these Flying Spirit clan true gods. This was the first thing they were doing for Yichun, and they were surely going to accomplish it. Boom! 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 Instantly, Bing Qi roared up to the sky. His entire body revealed its astonishingly huge, over 2,000 zhang long three-eyed fire Qilin true form. He exhaled a breath that utterly burned the void into nothingness. Flames gushed out from his mouth, scorching towards those fleeing figures above him in an instant. At the same time, Bing Qi also leapt high with his massive body, pursuing the flying spirit clan true gods with inconceivable speed. As Bing Qi took action, Bing Wu already transformed into his true form, the 10,000-meter-long nine-headed serpent emperor. Disappearing into the void in an instant, the next moment, he appeared above the 6 high-ranking true gods of the flying spirit clan, blocking their path. At this time, Bing Yi also made her move. Bing Yi didn't transform into her true form. As a 9 tribulations true god, she didn't need to reveal her true form to kill these people. Her steps shifted in the void, and in the next moment, she outpaced all the flying spirit clan true gods who had fled in advance, even surpassing Bing Qi and Bing Wu who had made the first move, and she directly appeared at the extremely high part of the void. Then, the sword light of the ice snow divine sword in Bing Yi's hand flashed, and in an instant, it shone down like an incomparable brilliance of icy sunlight. With pung 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 pung, all the fleeing flying spirit clan true gods felt billions of unstoppable sword lights slashing towards them. In an instant, another 4-5 tribulations true gods were decidedly killed. The entire sky had already become an unbelievable scene. More than a dozen powerful true gods of the flying spirit clan, burning divine power to flee, flapped their blood wings to the extreme behind them. Around them, the enormous three-eyed fire Qilin named Bing Qi, whose entire body was engulfed in flames that set the entire sky alight, was in hot pursuit. Accompanying it was the 9-headed serpent emperor, Bing Wu, who with her noble and icy aura shone through the void, every flicker of her movement blocking a swath of fleeing members of the flying spirit clan. But the real executioner, Bing Yi, was the most mystical. Her small girl's stature changed when she held the ice snow divine sword in her hands. Empowered by the vast aura of a 9th tribulation true god added to the divine sword, the ice snow divine sword exhibited a might that nobody had ever witnessed before, the true power of a heaven-reaching divine artifact. Thud, 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 thud. One after another, the true gods of the flying spirit clan were killed instantly, plummeting from the sky and dissolving into nothingness in a blink. Looking at this, it seemed that the invincible true gods from the lower realm, who had plunged the entire barbaric wilderness continent into catastrophe, were all destined for death. It was only a matter of time. Seeing the highly agitated Zhang Yao and Mulan true god at her side, their eyes gleaming with unshed tears as they watched their enemies die one by one, Yi Chun also spoke up. "Let's go, they have no desire to resist now. We'll take action too. Even if we can't kill anyone, at least we can make it not so easy for them to escape." Zhang Yao knew Yi Chun wanted to let her vent her anger for the Divine Phoenix clan's clansmen. In an instant, Zhang Yao's wrist flickered with divine light as she unleashed her starry nebulous spirit chain, her true phoenix bloodline igniting. Her waterfall-like long hair began to surge as she, along with Yi Chun who had drawn his purple blood divine sword, and True Phoenix and Mulan True God, charged into the vast expanse. Instantly, the remaining true gods of the Flying Spirit clan realized that escape was impossible, and a look of resolution flashed in their eyes. They ceased their flight and turned to fight to the death instead. In the sky, more than a dozen figures clashed in battle in an instant. When the Flying Spirit clan had hundreds of true gods, they could not withstand the onslaught of Yi Chen's group. What more now when only a mere 12 or 13 remained? Stay tuned for updates on Novelbin. Calm. The entire situation had become completely one-sided. Even under Bing Yi's watchful eye, not a single person from Yi Chen's side was injured, while the true gods of the Flying Spirit clan fell one by one. All 6 tribulations true gods, dead. All 7 tribulations true gods, dead. In the end, all that remained in the entire sky was the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan, an 8 tribulations true god. At this moment, the heart of this young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan had completely sunk, and though he had sacrificed all his divine artifacts and exhausted all his means, he still had no power to resist in front of Bing Yi, a nine tribulations true god. Thud. In the end, he was directly penetrated through the head by Bing Yi's ice snow divine sword from afar, instantly obliterating his entire divine body into nothingness. Finally, all that remained in the void were Yi Chen, Jiang Yao, True Phoenix, Mulan True God, Bing Qi, Bing Wu, and Bing Yi still proudly standing in the expanse of space. All the true gods of the Flying Spirit clan, hundreds of them, were all killed. The moment all the true gods were killed, a hush fell over the void. Meanwhile, within the ice jade pendant at the side, through the display of the outside battle situation by the jade pendant's 9 ice guardians, all the warriors and citizens of the barbaric wilderness continent hiding within saw the outcome of the invasion. The hundreds of true gods had all fallen. In an instant, cries of surprise, cheers, and unbelievable screams rang throughout the space within the ice jade pendant. In the upper realm, the ancient lands of the 6 great clans, the Flying Spirit clan. In a grand hall of the Flying Spirit clan's ancestral lands, all the life jade stones of the Flying Spirit clan's true gods were on display. The 2 true gods guarding the hall were quietly cultivating as usual, when they suddenly heard a succession of thud sounds. The sounds startled them, causing their eyes to fly open in alarm. As they looked, they were horrified to see that in the life jade stone area, hundreds of life jade stones had shattered into powder. Life jade stones represented the safety of the Flying Spirit clan's true gods, treasured items left in the clan to detect when any of them faced danger. Normally, when the life jade stones develop cracks, it means the owner has encountered peril, and the clan's powerful members would rush to the aid of the owner based on the situation. But when the life jade stones completely shattered into powder, it spelled the direct death of the stone's owner. The 2 guardians in the Grand Hall had encountered Flying Spirit clan true gods dying and their life jade stones breaking. However, they had never faced an event where hundreds of true gods' life jade stones shattered all at once. This implied that hundreds of true gods of the Flying Spirit clan had been killed almost simultaneously. The 2 guardians of the Grand Hall could hardly believe it. Keep in mind, even when the Flying Spirit and Vermilion Bird clans combined forces to besiege the Divine Phoenix clan and many true gods fell, it was never like this time, where so many gods perished in an instant. Just as the 2 guardians of the Grand Hall were about to scream and spread the word, an even more astonishing event occurred. The life jade stones of true gods below 5 tribulations, which had previously shattered, were only the beginning. Following that, they found that the life jade stones of those above 5 tribulations also began to crack. In the end, even the life jade stone of their young clan leader, a powerful 8 tribulations true god, had completely shattered into dust. This development left the 2 Grand Hall guardians trembling all over in shock. The young clan leader has died. After a moment of trembling, the wailing voices of the 2 guardians echoed out from the Grand Hall to the entire Flying Spirit clan. The young clan leader has fallen, and hundreds of our true gods have all perished. Chapter 544 The Second 9 Tribulation True God. Boom! 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 As the sound resounded throughout the entire Flying Spirit clan, countless figures from the Heavenly Saint Cave Mansions and True God Cave Mansions, even the highest-ranking members within the Flying Spirit clan's Divine Mountain, flew out. All of them rushed towards the Grand Hall. Upon entering the Grand Hall and witnessing the hundreds of life jade stones reduced to powder, especially the one representing the young clan leader, shattered into dust at the highest place, everyone was utterly shocked. A moment later, an 8 tribulations true god elder screamed, "Quickly report to the elder clan leader. Something terrible has happened. Something terrible indeed." Divine Phoenix City. After the Divine Phoenix clan was besieged by a joint attack from the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan, suffering near annihilation with clan members either dead or fled, the Divine Phoenix City was completely dominated by the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans. In the deepest, core secret area of Divine Phoenix City lay 2 treasures coveted by countless warriors of the Minor Spirit realm, which sparked the joint siege of the Divine Phoenix clan by the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans: the Phoenix Divine Blood and the Nirvana Pool. The Phoenix Divine Blood was located in a secret realm on the eastern side of Divine Phoenix City. There was an unbelievably huge pool that covered 1,000 miles. At the center of the pool stood a giant phoenix statue mountain. Within it, drops of mystical phoenix divine blood, like stalactites, formed periodically, dripping down into the pool below. Sometimes, the dripping phoenix divine blood would undergo a strange transformation, sprouting phoenix feathers or even a juvenile phoenix from the pool. At this moment, the Phoenix Divine Blood was completely occupied by the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans. Their top experts ceaselessly collected the endlessly forming Phoenix Divine Blood, Phoenix Feathers, and juvenile phoenixes, transporting them to their respective clan territories. The other treasure, the Nirvana Pool, was situated within a secret realm on the western side of Divine Phoenix City. Unlike the Phoenix Divine Blood, which was a solitary great pool with the Phoenix Statue Mountain, the Nirvana Pool was located amongst the 8 great shocking peaks, as if it were protected by their embrace. One could see that each of the 8 great shocking peaks surged over 30,000 feet high, and what was more astonishing was that each peak was carved with countless mystical patterns, clearly the divine inscriptions left by the God King level Phoenix that bestowed the Nirvana Pool to the Divine Phoenix clan. The 8 great shocking peaks, adorned with these divine inscriptions, shone with divine light. Even more peculiar was the fact that each of the 8 great shocking peaks had a celestial waterfall cascading down. This was no ordinary waterfall, but rather the divine light that poured from the peaks. In the end, all the divine light coalesced into a small pool only 10,000 square feet in size, surrounded by the 8 great shocking peaks. This small pool, countless times smaller than the Phoenix Divine Blood Pool, was the most powerful treasure of Divine Phoenix City. The Nirvana Pool. Looking into the Nirvana Pool, one could see countless divine lights flickering above, which in their convergence, revealed an incredible gigantic yin-yang fish pattern within the water. At this time, atop the 8 great shocking peaks surrounding the Nirvana Pool sat numerous figures. The weakest among these figures were of the 7 Tribulations True God rank, with the strongest being an imposing 9 Tribulations True God. This 9 Tribulations True God, with white hair and beard, wearing a blood-red robe, was none other than the elder clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan, a being of the 9 Tribulations True God existence. At this moment, the elder clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan, along with countless other figures, was focusing intently on the Nirvana Pool amid the 8 great shocking peaks. There, an elder with a head full of black scales was sitting cross-legged above the Nirvana Pool in the void. Waves of Nirvana Pool water transformed into endless mists that showered upon the elder, and at the same time, incredible phenomena were unfolding. Amidst the fierce winds and torrential rains swirling around this elderly figure, countless lightning bolts, each a yard thick, streaked down from the void above the Nirvana Pool, striking the elder below without mercy. The incessant barrage of yard-thick lightning bolts grew increasingly ferocious, and finally, all the lightning turned into terrifying black thunderbolts, as if they were supreme divine swords intent on cleaving the elder apart, all slamming down upon him relentlessly. The elder, with an aura so immensely powerful it was inconceivable, couldn't help but release agonizing, pitiful cries under the endless onslaught of black lightning. Seeing this, the eyes of everyone on the 8 great shocking peaks grew tense. Whispers circulated among their minds. The 9th heavenly tribulation is truly too horrifying. The clan leader has been battered by this intense lightning for a full 3 months. If he were an ordinary 8 tribulations true God, he would have perished in this heavenly tribulation long ago. If not for the Nirvana Pool and the Phoenix Divine Blood that the clan leader prepared, he might not have lasted this long. It's almost over. This is the final wave of heavenly tribulation thunder. Once he withstands this, the clan leader can directly transcend the 8 tribulations true God rank, stepping into the realm of a 9 tribulations true God. By then, our Vermilion Bird clan will also possess a 9 tribulations true God. From these telepathic messages, it was clear that the one undergoing the 9th heavenly tribulation above the Nirvana Pool was none other than the elder clan leader of the Vermilion Bird clan. He had actually faced the arrival of the ninth heavenly tribulation after taking over Divine Phoenix City, using its two great treasures, Phoenix Divine Blood and the Nirvana Pool, to launch an assault on the status of a true god. Boom! 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 As the endless final wave of black divine tribulation thunder struck down above the Nirvana Pool upon the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan, eventually, all the thunder of tribulation turned the whole world into a sea of black lightning. Suddenly, the gigantic yin-yang fish pattern on the Nirvana Pool burst forth with endless divine light. Explore new worlds at Novelbin. Calm. Within the boundless divine light, the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan, who had been howling in agony, seemed to be reborn, suddenly opening his eyes amidst his pitiful screams. The countless black scales unique to the people of the Vermilion Bird Clan atop his head began emitting one ray of divine light after another, and finally, amidst the surging divine light, the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan shot up from above the Nirvana Pool into the sky. He actually charged directly into the sea of black thunder from the divine tribulation. Seeing this situation, the people of the Vermilion Bird Clan on the 8 great shocking peaks all stood up nervously, and they all turned to look at the Elder Clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan, asking anxiously, "Elder Clan leader Situ, can our clan leader survive this tribulation?" Whoosh! The Elder Clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan also stood up, his divine eyes fixating on the endless sea of black lightning from the divine tribulation. Upon sensing an ever-growing life force within it, the Flying Spirit Clan's Elder Clan leader's face changed with excitement. He's going to make it. Sure, he's going to succeed. Boom! Just as the Elder Clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan had finished speaking, the sea of black thunder above the Nirvana Pool exploded with a sudden boom, and amidst an exceptionally clarion long cry, the endless black divine tribulation thunder instantly vanished. Then, the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan was seen bursting with laughter, soaring from above the Nirvana Pool, and proudly standing in the void. Looking at the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan, his previous weariness had completely vanished. His vigor, spirit, and divinity had seemingly reached their peak. It was as if he had been reborn. Stepping into the rank of a true god, his entire life's plane made another leap. The Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan was no longer a dying old man, once again filled with boundless life force. With a great grasp in the void, he could see wave after wave of divine and mysterious light ceaselessly flashing and flowing around his body, all eventually merging into his divine form. Finally, after casting one glance at the Nirvana Pool below, the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan moved swiftly, flying toward the 8 great shocking peaks where the Elder Clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan was located. Congratulations, sure, for successfully breaking through the 9th heavenly tribulation and reaching the status of a true god, becoming another true god of the minor spirit realm. Elder Clan leader Situ, Nan of the Flying Spirit Clan, said to the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan with a smile. The Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan was named Shi Yen. Having successfully challenged the status of a true god, he was now in high spirits. He laughed heartily towards the Elder Clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan. "Thank you, Elder Brother Situ, for protecting the law for me. Congratulations, Elder Clan leader, on successfully overcoming the 9th heavenly tribulation and becoming a true god." As the 2 great Elder Clan leaders conversed, the other warriors of the Vermilion Bird Clan on the 8 great shocking peaks flew towards the mountain where their Elder Clan leaders were and knelt to offer their congratulations. "Our success is also thanks to the Nirvana Pool and Phoenix Divine Blood of the Divine Phoenix Clan. Otherwise, I would have had no chance of overcoming this 9th heavenly tribulation." The Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan, Shi Yen, looked down at the Nirvana Pool, his eyes shining with divine light. "With this pool and the Phoenix Divine Blood, the true gods of our 2 clans will be more numerous and more powerful in the future. It could even be possible to recreate the peak prosperity of the Divine Phoenix Clan in the old days." While the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan spoke, the Elder Clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan laughed heartily. "Speaking of which, a few days ago, my son came to report that remnants of the Divine Phoenix Clan were discovered in the lower realm. I wonder how he's dealing with those remnants now. The elder clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan was even more concerned about the unspoken possibility of God King level secrets, which the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan had reported to him. Previously, he was preoccupied with protecting the elder clan leader of the Vermilion Bird clan and couldn't leave. Now, he couldn't help but want to see that God King level grand secret for himself. Remnants of the Divine Phoenix clan have been discovered in the lower realm? The elder clan leader of the Vermilion Bird clan also chuckled. A few remnants? What significant trouble could they cause? By now, they are probably dead already. Elder clan leader Situ Nan of the Flying Spirit clan nodded with a smile, and with a gesture of his hands, he started to perform a powerful divine art to calculate the situation of his young clan leader as he explored the grand secret in the lower realm. With this calculation, the face of elder clan leader Situ Nan changed dramatically. In his divination, he saw that his son, the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan, had been slain and had already fallen. What's the matter, Situ? Upon seeing the changed expression on the face of the elder clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan, the elder clan leader of the Vermilion Bird clan and other Vermilion Bird powerhouses felt a surge of apprehension. At that moment, outside the 8 great shocking peaks, countless figures swiftly flew in. An elder among them called out loudly to the elder clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan atop the shocking peaks. Elder clan leader, there's been terrible news. The young clan leader has fallen in the lower realm. Chapter 545-. Kill as many as they come. Boom! The elder's voice, like a thunderbolt from a clear sky, exploded in the hearts of everyone on the sky-shocking giant mountain. The young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan has fallen? The powerful members of the Vermilion Bird clan knew that the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan was an 8 tribulation true god. An 8 tribulation true god. That was almost the pinnacle of existence in the minor spirit realm. Even during the Great War with the Divine Phoenix clan, the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan had not fallen, not even sustained an injury. How could he have perished in the lower realm? The recently ascended 9 tribulation true god, the old clan leader of the Vermilion Bird clan, couldn't believe it at all. However, all the powerful members of the Vermilion Bird clan knew that for an elder from the Flying Spirit clan to come forward with such news, it was absolutely impossible for it to be false. Recalling the sudden change in the expression of the Flying Spirit clan's old clan leader when making his calculations, everyone from the Vermilion Bird clan made the grim judgment that, perhaps, the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan had indeed perished in the lower realm. Whoosh! 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 In the midst of the powerful beings' minds reeling from shock, countless figures that had flown from beyond the 8 sky-shocking giant mountains had already landed in front of the crowd. Among these countless figures were the true gods of the Vermilion Bird clan who were responsible for defending the perimeter, and even more were from the Flying Spirit clan, rushing to report the news. The elder who had just shouted, his hands trembling as he held the pulverized remnants of the Flying Spirit clan young clan leader's life jade stone, presented it to the old clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan, his voice quivering, "Old clan leader." The old clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan, Situ Nan, had already turned a complete iron blue. When he made his calculations earlier, he saw his youngest son being slain in the lower realm and was utterly unwilling to believe it. But now, the remnants of his son's life jade stone were right before his eyes, and he could no longer disbelieve. The old clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan, who had always treated killing as trivial and had slaughtered countless warriors from the Divine Phoenix clan, even utilizing his 9 tribulation true god realm to completely eradicate the family grounds of the hugely influential Divine Phoenix clan, clenched his teeth fiercely. He could kill others, but when his own youngest son was slain by someone else, he couldn't accept it at all. Seeing that the old clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan was on the verge of exploding, everyone fell silent as if stricken by frost, except for the old clan leader of the Vermilion Bird clan who dared to speak up. "Situ, what exactly happened? You was an 8 tribulation true god. How could he die in the lower realm?" You was the familial name for the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan, whose full name is Situ. Upon hearing the old clan leader of the Vermilion Bird clan's question, images of his youngest son, Situ, being executed flashed through the old clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan's mind again. With the thought of that earth-shattering sword, his whole body shuddered. A nine tribulation true God executed my son. A nine tribulation true God? How could there possibly be a nine tribulation true God in the lower realm? Not just the old clan leader of the Vermilion Bird clan was shocked. All the members of the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans could hardly believe it either. Let alone the lower realm, in the minor spirit realm, nine tribulation true gods had been non-existent since the few old predecessors from the Divine Phoenix clan disappeared. The entire minor spirit realm was left with only the clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan and the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, who were nine tribulation true gods, and even the old clan leader of the Vermilion Bird clan had only just stepped into that realm. In total, the current minor spirit realm only possessed 3 nine tribulation true gods. How could there appear a nine tribulation true god in the lower realm? This was a matter that puzzled everyone immensely. Yet they wouldn't doubt the words of the old clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan. The old clan leader himself practiced divination as a great divine ability. Moreover, as it concerned his son, Situyu, he certainly would have refined some secret technique to investigate his death and would not casually claim that his son was killed by a nine tribulation true god. Noticing everyone's confusion, the old clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan gritted his teeth and with a great sweep of his hand towards the sky, he directly manifested the scene of his son, the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan, being executed in the air above the sky-shocking giant mountain. Seeing a girl in a white dress wielding a heaven-shaking snow-white divine sword, instantly piercing through hundreds of true gods, and in the end, even piercing the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan's head with her sword from afar, everyone on the scene trembled with fear. In the lower realm, there truly was an incomparably powerful nine tribulation true god. Not only did she execute the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan, but she also killed hundreds of true gods from the Flying Spirit clan. Hundreds of true gods. Even if the Flying Spirit and Vermilion Bird clans combined, they had just over 1,000 true gods. The number of gods that died was almost a fifth of the total number of true gods from the 2 ancient clans. Even the earth-shattering war with the Divine Phoenix clan had not resulted in so many true gods dying at once. This is the combat power of a nine tribulation true god. Cruelly overpowering other true gods as if a late-stage heavenly saint were crushing beings in the rotating pill realm or spirit sea realm. The countless warriors of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan sighed inwardly. They had relied on their sole nine tribulation true god, and with the cooperation of numerous true gods, they had even uprooted the profoundly influential Divine Phoenix clan. Now, they were also facing the slaughter of a nine tribulation true god. This nine tribulation true god is much stronger than me. The sword in her hand, it resembles the heaven-reaching divine artifacts of legend. At this moment, after seeing the figure of the nine tribulation true god, the girl in white who executed the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan disappears slowly in the sky. The old clan leader of the Vermilion Bird clan also took a deep breath and spoke out. Heaven-reaching divine artifact. This was a treasure said to be possessed only by God-King level entities. Even the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan, both ancient clans, had no such treasures. They had only a few ancient treasures that were infinitely close to the level of heaven-reaching divine artifacts. Upon hearing the words, heaven-reaching divine artifact, the true god's eyes of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan suddenly narrowed. A nine tribulation true god was already unthinkable, but armed with a heaven-reaching divine artifact sword, she was indeed terrifying to the extreme. All the real gods of the Vermilion Bird clan turned their gaze towards the elder clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan. His youngest son, along with his fellow clansmen, was executed by a ninth tribulation real god, and none of the Vermilion Bird clan knew whether the elder clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan would swallow this insult or seek revenge against this ninth tribulation real god. Even the true gods of the Flying Spirit clan who came to report the news, upon hearing that it was a ninth tribulation real god who executed their young clan leader, did not dare to speak out further. They could only wait for the final arrangements of their elder clan leader. At this moment, the elder clan leader of the Flying Spirit clan's gaze turned to the elder clan leader of the Vermilion Bird clan. This ninth tribulation real god, her true strength is actually 10% stronger than mine, and with the heaven-reaching divine artifact sword in her hand, I'm not her match. However, she's only one person, and at her side, as far as I could see, there are only a handful of real gods. We, on the other hand, have two ancient clans. We, in our clans, possess ancient treasures powerful enough to approach the status of heaven-reaching divine artifacts. Sure, are you willing to help me to execute her? The heaven-reaching divine artifact in her hand can't be fully wielded by her at the level of a real god. United, we two ninth tribulation real gods are certainly capable of slaying her. As long as you are willing to aid me in executing her, the heaven-reaching divine artifact in her hand, along with all the treasures on her, will be yours. I won't take a single item. Upon hearing that the Elder Clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan was willing to give him the heaven-reaching divine artifact, the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan's eyes shone brightly, but the thought of the other party's identity as a ninth tribulation real god made him hesitate. This ninth tribulation real god has an unclear origin. Directly engaging with her may also be somewhat inappropriate. Seeing the hesitation of the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan, the Elder Clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan dangled another huge temptation. He directly said to the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan, "Sure, when I sent my son, along with several hundreds of real gods to the lower realm, it was actually for a major secret, one that may involve God-King level secrets. I suspect that this ninth tribulation real god suddenly appeared in connection to this God-King level secret. Otherwise, she wouldn't possibly have come to the lower realm given her status as a ninth tribulation real god." Originally, the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan was puzzled as to why the Flying Spirit Clan would deploy so many real gods just to execute a few remnants of the Divine Phoenix Clan. Now, upon hearing of the God-King level secret, he finally understood that the deployment of so many real gods was for this reason. Of course, he wasn't going to blame the Elder Clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan for keeping it hidden, for he would have done the same. This was a God-King level secret after all. Continue your story on Novelbin. Calm. Even as a ninth tribulation real god himself, he was greatly tempted. As long as you're willing to assist once we solve this God-King level secret, I'll only take 40% of the benefits. The remaining 60% will all be yours. Brother, we must act quickly on this matter. Delay could lead to complications. We must avenge my son and uncover that God-King level secret. She's just one ninth tribulation real god. We have two ninth tribulation real gods. United in action, we surely have nothing to fear. To rally the Vermilion Bird Clan to take action. The Elder Clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan promised an enormous benefit. Furthermore, he dispelled all the doubts that the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan had. In the end, the eyes of the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan also began to shine with determination. Finally, he took a deep breath and declared, "Fine, our two clans managed to sweep through the Divine Phoenix Clan, and we shall certainly not fear a single ninth tribulation real god from the lower realm. Then let our two clans meet this ninth tribulation real god and see what in the lower realm is so significant that it prompted this ninth tribulation real god to suddenly appear." Boom! 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 Upon hearing the decisive voice of the Elder Clan leader of the Vermilion Bird Clan, all the true gods of the Vermilion Bird Clan knew that following their assault on the Divine Phoenix Clan, another joint operation between the two great ancient clans was about to erupt. The lower realm, barbaric wilderness continent. After hundreds of true gods of the Flying Spirit Clan were entirely executed, everyone in the Ice Snow Jade Pendant space burst into cheers and screams of elation. Outside the Ice Snow Jade Pendant, Bing Chi, Bing Wu, and Bing Yi once again flew back to Yi Chen's side. "Master, your orders have been fulfilled. All real gods have been executed," Bing Yi said to Yi Chen with a smile. Seeing Bing Yi Chen felt a surge of excitement in his heart. He hadn't expected a ninth tribulation real god to be so supremely powerful, far beyond his expectations. "Bing Yi, Bing Wu, Bing Chi, I have you to thank for this time," Yi Chen said earnestly to the three supreme Real God guards. "Bing Yi, Bing Wu, Bing Chi, thank you for avenging our clan. Zhang Yao, standing beside Yichun, also bowed gravely to the three supreme Real God guards. Even the True Phoenix and Mulan True God offered their respects to Bing Qi, Bing Wu, and Bing Yi. Bing Qi, Bing Wu, and Bing Yi, having already witnessed the intimacy between Zhang Yao and Yichun, dared not accept her grand gesture. As Zhang Yao was just about to bow, Bing Yi quickly helped her to stand, while Bing Wu and Bing Qi also helped the True Phoenix and Mulan True God to their feet. With a gentle smile, Bing Yi addressed Yichun, Zhang Yao, the True Phoenix, and Mulan True God. Alleviating the Master's worries and overcoming difficulties is our duty. Yes, Master and Sister Zhang Yao, please don't treat us with such formality. Bing Wu said likewise with a smile. Yichun nodded with a smile. However, he soon put away his smile and looked up to the ethereal sky. Although the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan and these real gods have been executed by us, the Flying Spirit Clan will probably not let this go. The elder clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan is rumored to be a 9th Tribulation real god. And the Vermilion Bird Clan, who joined forces with the Flying Spirit Clan to besiege the Divine Phoenix Clan, is also very likely to take action together. Seeing the worried look on Yichun's face, Bing Yi stepped forth and said solemnly, Master, if there are more real gods descending to harm you, however many come, that many will I slay. Bing Wu added, Master, you possess a heaven-reaching divine artifact flying boat, which not even higher god kings can destroy. If more real gods descend, at worst you can take everyone to the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying boat, and Bing Qi, Bing Yi, and I will fight until the heavens shatter and the earth splits. Let's see if they dare to descend then. Chapter 546. Hate. Hearing the words of Bing Yi and Bing Wu, Yichun smiled and nodded. Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi had followed the Icebound God King, so of course they wouldn't take the true gods of the minor spirit realm seriously. But what Yichun worried about were the countless martial artists and common folk across the entire barbaric wilderness continent. Indeed, just as Bing Wu had said, he had the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying boat, so he truly didn't need to fear the combined assault of countless true gods from the Vermilion Bird Clan and Flying Spirit Clan descending from the higher realm. However, if that were the case, the countless martial artists and commoners of the barbaric wilderness continent would fear that they couldn't return to their native land and live and cultivate normally as in the past for a long time. You must know, when the Vermilion Bird Clan and Flying Spirit Clan besieged the Divine Phoenix Clan, it was a divine war that lasted for thousands of years. Could this catastrophe be allowed to continue on the barbaric wilderness continent for thousands of years as well? Deep in his heart, Yichun desperately hoped to become even more powerful. If his strength now matched that of Bing Yi, as a 9 Tribulations true god, he and Bing Yi together, how could they fear more true gods from the Flying Spirit Clan descending? If his strength surpassed Bing Yi's, reaching the level of a divine king, then the Flying Spirit Clan wouldn't dare to descend upon the realm, fearing only groveling at his feet. Still not strong enough. A light flashed in Yichun's eyes as he sighed to himself. As if she knew what Yichun was thinking, Zhang Yao walked up to Yichun's side, took his hand, and with her star-like dazzling eyes, looked at Yichun. Yichun, you have done well enough. This catastrophe, just like the one faced by our Divine Phoenix Clan, is not something we wish to trigger. It was started by the Vermilion Bird Clan and the Flying Spirit Clan over treasures. Sooner or later, they will pay the price. Hearing Zhang Yao's words, Yichun took her hand in his and nodded with a smile. Yes, this catastrophe originated from the Great Battle in the Southern Territory, from the inheritance within the main hall of the Icebound Temple, just as the Divine Phoenix Clan's catastrophe was triggered by the Phoenix Divine Blood and the Nirvana Pool. It was all due to the greed of the Vermilion Bird Clan and the Flying Spirit Clan. Their greed had led to the destruction of the Divine Phoenix Clan, resulting in chaos throughout the barbaric wilderness continent. Not being able to exterminate them completely didn't matter for now. He had cultivated for only a short while, advancing from the True Chi realm to the current Heavenly Saint realm, and now he had obtained the 4th chapter of the Primordial Star Scripture, the Primordial Chapter, as well as the Undying Divine Body and Icebound Divine Body cultivation techniques, and also Lord Tianyun's 9 volumes of Formation Array. Yichun believed that it wouldn't take him long to reach a level where he could even exterminate the true gods, including the Elder Clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan who was a Nine Tribulations true god. Yi Chun had this confidence. If the Vermilion Bird Clan and Flying Spirit Clan really wanted to bring the full force of their clans to wreak havoc in the lower realm, then he was prepared to outlast them, to see who would have the last laugh. With this thought, Yi Chun ruffled Zhang Yao's head, his eyes brightening again. He looked at Bing Yi, Bing Wu, Bing Qi, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God, and resolutely said, "All right, then let's wait and see if those from the Flying Spirit Clan dare to descend again." For fear that more true gods would descend, Yi Chun did not allow the martial artists and common folk hidden within the ice snow jade pendant from the barbaric wilderness continent to emerge. He had the 9 great icebound guards, along with Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi, use countless spirit stones to support the cultivations of the martial artists inside. Bing Yi, with his overwhelming divine might, employed his great divine power to bring endless mana rain in numerous spaces, allowing even the ordinary citizens who could not cultivate to draw immense energy and replenish their bodily exhaustion. Meanwhile, Yi Chun and Zhang Yao, among others, all sat cross-legged on the ground, cultivating while awaiting the potentially horrific battle. In this waiting time, Yi Chun practiced the primordial chapter while beginning to cultivate the icebound divine body. Zhang Yao continued to cultivate the bloodline secret skill specific to the Divine Phoenix clan. Bing Yi used his great divine power to surveil the vast expanse of the barbaric wilderness, watching for any stir within the void. This wait didn't last too long. Just 5 days later, countless explosive sounds from high in the void above the barbaric wilderness continent resounded, unmistakably signaling the arrival of more true gods descending, as they breached the spatial barriers of the barbaric wilderness continent, causing explosions. "They have come." Bing Yi was the first to stand up, flying to Yi Chen's side. Yi Chun, Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, Mulan True God, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi also rose to their feet. The 9 great icebound guards, Palace Master Yuan Li, and others inside the ice snow jade pendant looked toward the void. Looking up at the high spaces of the void, one could see what seemed like a meteor shower. The true gods appearing this time numbered more than the hundreds of previous true gods. It appeared, roughly, that there were 17 or 1800 figures. Looking at them, it seemed that the Flying Spirit Clan and the Vermilion Bird Clan had come in full force, bringing almost all of their true gods except those below that realm, down to the lower realm. All these 1,000 figures were dragging long trails of divine light, densely spilling like a rain of meteors from the sky at an extremely high speed, plummeting toward the ground. Seeing this scene, Yi Chen, Zhang Yao, Bing Yi, and the others exchanged looks, and with a whoosh whoosh whoosh, they all flew toward the sky. Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God's eyes filled with boundless hatred. Witnessing this scene, they were reminded of the moment when the Divine Phoenix clan was besieged by the 2 ancient clans. Not satisfied with besieging the Divine Phoenix clan, these 2 ancient clans were now leading so many true gods to lay siege to the entire barbaric wilderness continent. Boom! Boom! Among the falling figures of 17 or 1800, the leaders were none other than the elder of the Flying Spirit Clan and the elder of the Vermilion Bird Clan. Both of them were 9 Tribulations true gods, descending so swiftly it seemed as though they were about to shatter the very barrier of the void itself. Upon seeing 2 9 Tribulations true gods descending, Yi Chen's pupils suddenly constricted. 2 9 Tribulations true gods? He remembered that among the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans, only the elder of the Flying Spirit clan was a 9 Tribulations true god. He had not anticipated that the elder of the Vermilion Bird clan had also transformed into a 9 Tribulations true god. At this moment, True Phoenix and Mulan True God also sensed something amiss. Exchanging a glance, they immediately thought it very likely that the elder of the Vermilion Bird clan had transformed into a 9 Tribulations true god by using the 2 great treasures of their clan, the Phoenix Divine Blood and the Nirvana Pool. Thinking of this, True Phoenix and Mulan True God's fervent rage ignited even further. Their clan's treasures had fallen into such hands, and now these people, having enhanced their power with the treasures, were rampaging through the barbaric wilderness continent, which made True Phoenix and Mulan True God grind their teeth in hatred. At this point, True Phoenix and Mulan True God shared Yi Chen's sentiment, feeling that their own power was insufficient. Otherwise, they would have ascended to the heavens and plunged into battle against the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit Clan's true gods, fighting until the skies darkened and the earth dimmed. Master! Seeing 29 Tribulation's true gods leading a descent of 17 or 1800 true gods from the lower realm, Bing Yi's eyes slightly contracted before she swooshed and drew her ice snow divine sword, calling out to Yi Chun, Master, do not worry. Even if there are 29 Tribulation's true gods, Bing Yi will fight for you. Bing Wu and Bing Qi also stepped forward. Master, we too will fight for you. These people can't harm us. Boom! 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 After speaking, Bing Yi charged into the sky, flying straight towards the descending group of true gods. Bing Wu and Bing Qi flashed in the void and followed closely behind Bing Yi, flying upwards. Yi Chun, of course, would not let his 3 true god guards face so many true gods alone. He addressed Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God. Let's go too. Whoosh! With a wave of his hand, the top-notch heaven-reaching divine artifact flying boat, which he had refined after acquiring from the main hall of the Icebound Temple, materialized beside him. Then Yi Chun, accompanied by Zhang Yao and True Phoenix and Mulan True God, followed in the wake of Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi into the sky. One side was a descent from the heavens with more than 1,000 true gods, among which were 29 Tribulation's true gods. On the other side, there were only a few such as Yi Chun, yet they were wholly unafraid, directly confronting this endless number of true gods. When the two sides were a few thousand feet apart, both parties came to a halt in the void, facing each other from a distance. Are you the chief culprit who slaughtered my son? Upon seeing Bing Yi, the elder of the Flying Spirit Clan, Situ Nan looked as if he were about to spew fire from his eyes. He glared at Bing Yi, ready to attack. Bing Yi, gazing at Situ Nan, said indifferently, It was me who killed him, so what? If you want to fight again, then I shall kill again. Boom! As Bing Yi spoke, her ice snow divine sword radiated with divine light, shining like ice glows from the 9 heavens, unleashing a radiance never seen before. Seeing the sword in Bing Yi's hand, a look of greed and fear flashed through the eyes of the elder of the Vermilion Bird Clan. His gaze swept past Bing Yi and fixed on Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God. Indeed, there are remnants of the Divine Phoenix clan still in the lower realm. When he saw Zhang Yao, he was startled. Your face resembles that of Elder Jiang from the Divine Phoenix clan. Could you be the little princess who escaped from the Divine Phoenix clan back then? Confronted with the vast armies of the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans, Zhang Yao was reminded of what she had witnessed from her retreat in Azure Blue Mansion, the destruction of Divine Phoenix City, her parents' ultimate sacrifice to hold back countless true gods of the Flying Spirit and Vermilion Bird clans. Zhang Yao's heart surged with boundless hatred. It was these people who had torn her from her father and mother, from her clansmen. It was these people who had caused the deaths and wounds among her clansmen, with the majority being enslaved by the Black Crow God King, unable to reunite. One day, I will execute every single one of you who has wronged my Divine Phoenix clan, Zhang Yao declared slowly and clearly to the 2 great clan leaders and the numerous true gods from their clans. Zhang Yao, who always spoke softly and gently, revealed such intense hatred with her words that it was imaginable just how bitter her heart was. This caused Yi Chen's heart to ache, and he tightly grasped Zhang Yao's hand. Execute all of us? The elders of the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans exchanged glances, burst into laughter, and their eyes turned frosty the next moment. I'm afraid you won't have the chance. Now we will execute all of you. Boom! 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 Explore more stories at novelbin.com. With a sweep of their hands, all the true gods in the sky sprang into action, and the 29 Tribulation's true gods simultaneously launched an attack on Bing Yi. Chapter 547- Heaven and Earth Overturned. A 9 Tribulation's true god, Bing Yi was absolutely confident she could take one down, and even had spare energy to look out for others. However, with 29 Tribulation's true gods joining forces to besiege her, Bing Yi would have to fight both alone. which meant she couldn't spare attention to anyone else in the short term, let alone have the opportunity to kill other true gods. And with another 17 or 1800 true gods combined in their assault, even if Bing Wu and Bing Qi could hold off some, the rest would definitely pose a real threat to Yi Chun, Jiang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God. The transformation of the old clan leader of the Vermilion Bird clan into a 9 Tribulations True God completely disrupted the predictions of Yi Chun and his group. But fortunately, Yi Chun still had the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying boat. In the instant, the old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan led the Skyful True Gods in a sudden murderous assault. Yi Chun pointed in the void, and the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying boat by his side instantly swelled to thousands of zhang in size. In an instant, it took him, Jiang Yao, True Phoenix, and True God Mulan into the flying boat. At the same time, Yi Chun controlled the flying boat, lingering not far from Bing Wu, Bing Qi, and Bing Yi's side, ready to take them all back into the flying boat at the first sign of trouble. Boom! 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 In an instant, the old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan arrived before Bing Yi, while the rest of the sky-filled true gods all charged towards Bing Wu, Bing Qi, and the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying boat. At Bing Yi's location, facing the siege of 2 great 9 Tribulations True Gods, Bing Yi's first concern was not for herself, but for Yi Chun. When she saw that Yi Chun had already flown into the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying boat, the worried look in Bing Yi's eyes vanished, and her eyes immediately revealed an overlooking demeanor. Clang! The ice-snow divine sword in her hand suddenly trembled with divine light, instantly drawing a dazzling arc piercing the sky, and she directly slashed towards the old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan. At the same time, within the dazzling arc of the ice-snow divine sword, countless streams of energy, each dozens of zhang long, emerged, cutting through the defenses of the 2 9 Tribulations True Gods with incredible speed and aiming even further behind them at the Skyful True Gods, lessening the pressure on Yi Chun, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi. Seeing the blinding light from Bing Yi's divine sword, the old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan's eyes flashed with a grave expression. Despite their serious looks, they would not allow Bing Yi to slay other true gods in front of them. You think you can kill others while fighting the 2 of us? Do you think you're a divine king? The 2 old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan said, and as they spoke, an unmatched divine light from their bodies immediately transformed into tens of thousands of divine light shields, blocking all the streams of energy flashing from the sword's arc. Thump! 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 The energy streams collided with the divine light shields, and the whole sky resounded with numerous explosive and muffled sounds. Bing Yi, of course, knew she could not easily slay other true gods when faced with the combined efforts of 2 9 Tribulations True Gods. Her attack was meant to distract their attention. While the 2 9 Tribulations True Gods were occupied defending the other true gods from the countless energy streams, the main offensive move from Bing Yi, the thousands of zhang-long terrifying sword arc, had already completely fallen above their heads. At that moment, both the old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan snorted coldly, and from their bodies flew an ancient bronze gong and a crimson bell, respectively. In an instant, these 2 treasures grew boundlessly large, soaring towards the terrifying sword arc. This clash was 1,000 times more intense than the earlier confrontation of divine light shields blocking countless energy streams. Instantly, at the point where the arc met the 2 great treasures, the entire void burst with earth-shattering sounds. The entire expanse of the sword arc, stretching thousands of zhang, was filled with explosion sounds, the void fracturing, and the shockwaves even affected more true gods behind it, causing many to dodge out of the way. In the end, even the ground was lifted layer by layer, unearthing thousands of zhang-long deep trenches. Just a single move was terrifying to the extreme. This was the battle of 9 Tribulations True Gods. Whiz! 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 Seeing the 2 old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan bring out treasures to block her move, Bing Yi was not at all surprised. She quickly performed hand seals, and her ice-snow divine sword transformed from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, and eventually into countless bright swords, all revolving around Bing Yi. With one pinch of the seal in Bing Yi's hand, it was as if the entire sky was whipped up into a terrifying blade storm, which disappeared instantly from beside her into the void, and in the next moment, appeared right outside the two clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan, enveloping them with an endless blades, and with an incredible speed, whirled towards them in a savage slash. Bing Yi, fighting against two, was gaining the upper hand against the two great Nine Tribulations true gods. Although she couldn't completely slay the two in a short time, she was definitely able to ensure her own safety. Elsewhere, while Bing Yi battled the two old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan, the 17 or 1800 true gods had completely overwhelmed Bing Wu, Bing Qi, and the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying boat where Yi Chun was. These sky-filled true gods were like a swarm of locusts, intending to engulf Bing Wu, Bing Qi, and the flying boat entirely. At this moment, the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel controlled by Yi Chun suddenly emitted a thunderous roar. Within this roar, divine light overflowed from the entire flying vessel. This kind of divine light, which even surpassed that of a true god, was unmistakably the divine might only a god-king level heaven-reaching divine artifact could possess. The entire heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel was pitch black, undeniably a peerless creation, even more divine than any other flying vessel Yi Chun had ever seen. Moreover, the numerous scars of battle that covered the vessel were left from a fight between two divine kings, adding an inconceivable sense of shock to this heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel. When the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel fully surged with its protective glow, not even the combined assault of more than 1,000 true gods could shake it in the slightest. Instead, they were sent reeling in all directions by the impact from the flying vessel. If it wasn't for the fact that this heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel only possessed divine might for flying and defense, lacking any offensive power, Yi Chun would be confident he could slay all these true gods with the might of the flying vessel alone. In the end, the divine marvels and supreme divine light of the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel even caught the attention of the Vermilion Bird clan elder and the Flying Spirit clan elder, who were engaged in a fierce battle with Bing Yi. The two of them instantly recognized it as a heaven-reaching divine artifact. Apart from the divine sword in Bing Yi's hands, they had now encountered another heaven-reaching divine artifact. This made them realize that very likely, the secrets of the God-King level they sought had already fallen into the hands of Yi Chun, who controlled the flying vessel. With this thought, the two clan elders' minds were filled with greed. They wished they could immediately kill Yi Chun and seize both the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel and any other treasures that might be hidden on him. Unfortunately, they were completely tied up in their fight with Bing Yi and couldn't free themselves. Otherwise, they would probably have already attacked the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel. True gods swarming like locusts, unable to do anything to the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel or those within it like Yi Chun and Jiang Yao, burst into the void and turned their killing intent towards Bing Wu and Bing Qi. Among these 1,007 to 800 true gods, there were several 8 tribulation true gods and even more than 27 tribulation true gods. They dared not provoke Bing Yi, but they had no fear of confronting Bing Wu, a 7 tribulation true god, and Bing Qi, a 6 tribulation true god. Hum, hum, hum. Countless treasures trembled, and boundless divine power surged forth. They had already closed in on Bing Wu and Bing Qi. Even as Yi Chun used the heaven-reaching divine artifact to knock away a large swath of true gods, he couldn't stop the remaining throngs from besieging Bing Wu and Bing Qi. Bing Wu and Bing Qi, fighting on their own, were absolutely fearless against these true gods, with Bing Wu even daring to battle 8 tribulation true gods. But this was an assault by 1,007 to 800 true gods in unison. An instant later, Bing Wu and Bing Qi were utterly overwhelmed. Seeing this situation, Yi Chun couldn't let Bing Wu and Bing Qi take any more risks. He directly controlled the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel to ram open a path through the true gods attacking Bing Wu and Bing Qi. While mentally communicating with them, he immediately drew both Bing Wu and Bing Qi into the flying vessel. In the end, the only battle remaining in the entire sky was the lone fight of Bing Yi. Read exclusive chapters at novelbin.com. Boom! 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 The battle between Bing Yi, the Vermilion Bird Clan Elder, and the Flying Spirit Clan Elder, 3-9 Tribulation True Gods, was so intense that it turned the heavens upside down, the entire space thoroughly engulfed by their warfare. On the other side stood the countless true gods of the Vermilion Bird Clan and Flying Spirit Clan who dared not approach, as well as Yi Chun and others inside the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel, unable to join the fight. Seeing this scenario, the two clan elders of the Vermilion Bird Clan and Flying Spirit Clan called out to the legion of true gods while combating Bing Yi. What are you waiting for? If you can't handle that heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel, then destroy the entire barbaric wilderness continent. Boom! After the two clan elders spoke, the divine power of the countless true gods wildly whirled, their hands slicing through the void, tearing the land of the barbaric wilderness continent beneath them to shreds. Their boundless divine forces struck down, intending to destroy all life essence within the land, rendering it into a lifeless dead zone, devoid of any greenery. If they carried on like this, those true gods would definitely have the capability to reduce the entire barbaric wilderness continent to a wasteland. Seeing this unfold, fire seemed to spew from Yi Chen's eyes within the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel. From within the flying vessel, he was indeed helpless against these true gods, but he couldn't stop them from devastating the entire barbaric wilderness continent. The two elders of the Vermilion Bird Clan and the Flying Spirit Clan were indeed malevolent. Having fully wrecked the Divine Phoenix Clan, they now sought to vent their fury on the barbaric wilderness continent. Yi Chun was filled with hatred, hateful that his power was still not enough. Zhang Yao, the true Phoenix, and Mulan, true god by Yi Chen's side, were in extreme agony. And the countless martial artists and citizens of the barbaric wilderness continent within the Ice Snow Jade Amulet space, through the eyes of the 9 Ice Guardians, as they witnessed the unfolding battle outside and saw swathes of land being destroyed one after another, screamed in frenzy and wept tears of despair. Helpless. But everyone was helpless. In the field, only Bing Yi continued the battle, utterly restrained by the 2-9 Tribulation True Gods, unable to block the actions of the other true gods, and Yi Chun and the others, facing more than 1,000 true gods, were completely powerless. Were they to simply watch as these true gods razed one parcel of land after another, obliterating swathes of land, turning the entire barbaric wilderness continent into ruins? If so, they would survive, but their homeland would never recover. Chapter 548-. The Arrival of the Ancient Emperor. Just when all the martial artists and citizens of the barbaric wilderness continent had plunged into despair, just when Bing Yi could no longer restrain herself after hearing Yi Chen's angry howl, morphing her body to appear, only to still be desperately blocked by 2-9 Tribulation True Gods. Just when the Divine Phoenix Clan and Vermilion Bird Clan True Gods flew across the sky in droves, lifting up swathes of the continent's land, turning it into ruined wastelands, there came a deafening roar from the high heavens. It was as if an inconceivable object suddenly burst through the spatial barrier of the barbaric wilderness continent, penetrating into its realm. This world-shaking roar made Bing Yi, the elder of the Flying Spirit Clan, and the elder of the Vermilion Bird Clan, all 3-9 Tribulation True Gods, simultaneously cease their fighting in an instant. This earth-shattering roar caused the true gods of the Flying Spirit Clan and Vermilion Bird Clan, who were devastating pieces of land, to jolt in alarm. This heaven-shaking roar also made Yi Chun, Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, Mulan True God, Bing Qi, and others within the heaven-reaching divine artifact helplessly fly out in an instant, wanting to see what had happened in the high void. In the end, everyone lifted their heads and looked toward the sky, toward the highest reaches of the heavens. And there, everyone witnessed an incredible scene. They saw a colossal ancient vine, descending from the 9th heaven. The tremendous booming sound was indeed the sound of this enormous ancient vine piercing through the spatial barrier of the barbaric wilderness continent. As this ancient vine broke through the spatial barrier and fell into the high skies of the continent, countless branches rapidly grew from the main vine. No sooner had these branches appeared than they extended rapidly, shooting out fiercely, and before long, they all wound toward the 1,007 to 800 true gods of the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans, who were destroying the land. Incredibly, before any of the true gods could even react, all of them, aside from the two clan elders, were entangled and swept up by the countless branches into the void. In the end, an astonishing sight unfolded. An immense ancient vine too unbelievable to comprehend descended from the heavens. The vine instantly shot out 1,007 to 800 branching tendrils, ensnaring all of the true gods, binding them upon its spreading branches as if they were fruits borne upon this incredible vine. These 1,007 to 800 true gods, those below the rank of sixth tribulations, were unable to break free from the vine's entwined grasp no matter how hard they struggled. Even the mighty 6, 7, and 8th tribulation true gods struggled for a long time before they could extricate themselves from the tendrils of the ancient vine. Once they had fearfully flown a safe distance away, they turned once again to gaze at the colossal vine in the sky, trembling as they beheld the remaining true gods still bound in the heavens. A heaven-startling vine descended from the sky. In an instant it ensnared over 1,006 tribulation and below true gods. It even made dozens of true gods above 6 tribulations avoid it from afar, trembling all over. This scene left Yichun, Zhongyao, True Phoenix, Mulan, True God, and the others who had flown out of the heaven-reaching divine artifact completely dumbfounded. As for the two clan elders of the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans, who were in the midst of battling Bing Yi, when they saw this earth-shattering, massive green vine descend, binding countless true gods of their clans in an instant, they too exclaimed out loud, "Ancient Emperor!" Clearly, they recognized the one behind this action. Ancient Emperor? At the mention of these two words, a flurry of thoughts crossed Yi Chen's mind. He also noticed that the Yen clan ancient order, which he had always carried with him and which he had obtained in the ancient god tower, had begun to tremble. The Yen clan ancient order had been acquired by Yi Chen in the ancient god tower, from Yenlinger of the 6 ancient clans of the minor spirit realm. Yi Chen immediately thought of one person, Yenlinger's grandfather, the ancient emperor of the Yen clan. Could it be that the ancient emperor, the two clan elders of the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans were referring to, was him? Yi Chen was aware that the ancient emperor of the Yen clan was the only 9th tribulation true god in the minor spirit realm, aside from the elder of the Flying Spirit clan, following the departure of the seniors from the Divine Phoenix clan. However, judging by the heaven-shattering might of the act, where even 8th tribulation true gods were helplessly bound in an instant, Yi Chen had a premonition that this person's divine power might even surpass that of Bing Yi in her full form. Could it be that the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, whom he had never met, was actually this powerful? As Yi Chen was shaken and speculating in his heart, and as the two clan elders of the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans had just shouted Ancient Emperor, and while Bing Yi was also solemnly looking toward the highest reach of the heavens, an old man's figure, along with several others, directly flashed out from the high void. Upon appearing, the old man said with a smile to the two clan elders of the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans, "Situ, my friend, sure my friend, it's been a while since we've met. The way you've been conducting yourselves in the lower realm, well, it's not very nice." Yi Chen saw that the old man had a tall figure and a lively spirit, with exceptionally bright eyes. He also noticed several figures behind the elder. Among these figures, 3 were extremely familiar to Yi Chen. One of them was Ding Xiaojia, the young prince of the 9-pointed continent, whom Yi Chen had once saved in the divine treasure trove within the 5 Elements mountain. Another person, who had once dueled with Yi Chen, and also faced a life-and-death crisis with him in the ultimate treasure cave of the divine inheritance, was the little saintess from the Li Fire continent, Hua Meier. Yi Chen had never expected that these 2 would also come here. At this moment, seeing Yi Chen looking towards him, Ding Xiaojia smiled and nodded at Yi Chen. When Hua Meier saw that Yi Chen was safe and sound, she seemed to breathe a sigh of relief and gave Yi Chen a bright smile, her eyes twinkling as if she had countless things to say to him. Apart from Ding Xiaojia and Hua Meier, the third familiar figure Yi Chen recognized turned out to be the true image of Yenlinger, whom he had caught a glimpse of after fighting his way through all 18 levels of the ancient god tower and acquiring the Yen clan divine order from the spiritual projection of Yenlinger. This figure was indeed the real Yenlinger, the Yenlinger who had transformed into a true god. Yenlinger, the Yen clan, the ancient emperor, this elder who made his move, indeed may be the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, potentially another Nine Tribulations true god from the minor spirit realm. Why had Yen Linger, the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, suddenly appeared here, and judging by the actions of the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, it seemed like he was assisting Yi Chun. Could it be that Ding Xiaojia and Huameyer had asked the ancient emperor to come? Yi Chun only remembered that Huameyer was extremely familiar with the Baiming clan among the 6 ancient clans, but he had never heard that Huameyer was also acquainted with the Yen clan. Yi Chun was filled with doubts. Seeing Yi Chen's surprised and puzzled look, the Yen Linger in the void also looked towards him. This was the first actual encounter between Yen Linger and Yi Chun since she had left the Yen clan divine order, and caught a glimpse of him. Yen Linger was also curiously sizing up Yi Chun, examining the youth who had defeated her spiritual projection back then. And the elder, after greeting the clan elders of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan, looked directly at Yi Chun and said with a faint smile, "Young friend Yi Chun, it's our first meeting, and I never expected it to be under these circumstances. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the person who left the ancient god tower that you have traversed, the ancient emperor of the Yen clan." The ancient emperor of the Yen clan. This elder, as Yi Chun had guessed, was indeed the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, the one who, with his heaven-shaking supernatural ability of spatial transference, had moved countless martial artists from 33 continents to duel, ultimately establishing the ancient god tower. Boom! 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 Upon seeing the ancient emperor of the Yen clan greeting Yi Chun with a smile, the clan elders of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan felt turbulent waves in their hearts. They had never expected that the young man in front of them was acquainted with the ancient emperor of the Yen clan. Even more so, they could not have imagined that the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, who was rumored to have long since entered seclusion and withdrawn from worldly affairs, would appear again and personally intervene, binding their clan's true gods and seeming determined to assist the youth before them. "Ancient Emperor, you have bound our clan's true gods. What is the reason for this? Could it be that you intend to intervene in our clan's affairs?" At last, the clan elder of the Flying Spirit clan, with a livid face, asked the ancient emperor of the Yen clan. He had to be livid, although, after several seniors of the Divine Phoenix clan had left, and before the clan elder of the Vermilion Bird clan had transformed into a Nine Tribulations true god, there were only him and the ancient emperor of the Yen clan left as the 2 Nine Tribulations true gods in the entire minor spirit realm. But the clan elder of the Flying Spirit clan knew very well that the ancient emperor of the Yen clan was much stronger than him, not just slightly but by a significant margin. Even he dared not face the ancient emperor of the Yen clan in a direct confrontation. At this moment, although the clan elder of the Flying Spirit clan was questioning the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, he lacked any confidence at heart. If the ancient emperor of the Yen clan truly intended to intervene in their affairs, he and the clan elder of the Vermilion Bird clan might dare to fight together. But at this time they were also facing Bing Yi, who was equally powerful. If the ancient emperor of the Yen clan and Bing Yi joined forces, then they would have absolutely no chance of winning. The clan elder of the Flying Spirit clan could only hope that the ancient emperor of the Yen clan was not here to assist Yi Chun but had some other purpose. However, the words of the ancient emperor of the Yen clan that followed dashed his hopes. The ancient emperor of the Yen clan's exceptionally bright eyes looked over all those present, especially noting Bing Yi, who was fighting with the 2 Nine Tribulations true gods and the vast expanse of the barbaric wilderness continent that had been destroyed by the true gods of the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans, before he slowly spoke. "Situ, sure, cease your actions, or else, today, I may have to break my usual practice and begin a massacre." Boom! Continue reading at Novelbin. Calm. The words of the ancient emperor of the Yen clan sent a shiver down the spines of all the true gods below the 6 tribulations of the Flying Spirit and Vermilion Bird clans who were bound by countless vines in the sky. Even those who had freed themselves from the vines' binding, the 6, 7, and 8 tribulations true gods, instantly turned pale. The faces of the clan leaders of the Flying Spirit and Vermilion Bird clans became thoroughly unflattering. Chapter 549, The Major Changes in the Minor Spirit Realm. Seeing that the two old clan leaders from the Flying Spirit clan and Vermilion Bird clan had not yet made a move, the Yen clan's ancient emperor shook his head, and in a flash, his figure disappeared. The next moment, he had arrived beside Bing Yi from an extremely high point in the void, directly facing the old clan leaders of the Flying Spirit clan and Vermilion Bird clan. Several figures by the side of the Yen clan's ancient emperor, including 3/8 Tribulation True Gods, as well as Yenlinger, Huameyer, and Ding Xiaojia, flew straight towards the heaven-reaching divine artifact flying boat beside Yi Chun, and ultimately they all stood next to Yi Chun. With this action, the ancient emperor and his companions had directly proven with their deeds that they were standing on Yi Chen's side. Even though they were only a few in number, there was among them a 9th Tribulation True God. Previously, the old clan leaders of the Flying Spirit clan and Vermilion Bird clan, both 9th Tribulation True Gods, had struggled against Bing Yi, barely managing to cope. They even had to unleash their ancient clan's ancient treasures that had been passed down for countless years and were exceedingly close to the heaven-reaching divine artifact in might, just to barely hold their ground. Now seeing that the Yen clan's ancient emperor had truly sided with Yi Chun and was poised to join forces with Bing Yi in combat, both old clan leaders immediately retreated explosively. They knew well that even though they were 9th Tribulation True Gods and of the same rank as Bing Yi and the Yen clan's ancient emperor, they now had absolutely no strength left to resist. If they didn't retreat now, once Bing Yi freed up his hands, it was feared that countless true gods from both clans could potentially die in quick succession, following in the footsteps of the several hundred true gods who had been killed earlier. Realizing their defeat, the retreating old clan leaders of the Flying Spirit clan and Vermilion Bird clan understood that this venture to the lower realm, to avenge Sityu and the other true gods of the Flying Spirit clan, as well as the plan to find the God King-level earth-shattering secret, were now completely shattered. Even the scheme of devastating the land of the barbaric wilderness continent, forcing Yi Chun to give up resistance and surrender, was no longer feasible. Thinking of this, the two old clan leaders exchanged a glance, gritted their teeth, and fiercely uttered a single phrase to their own true gods, "We leave!" As they spoke, they headed towards the miraculous heavenly vine above, determined to rescue the true gods of their clans who were bound by it. Your adventure continues at Novelbin. Calm. Witnessing the actions of the two old clan leaders, the Yen clan's ancient emperor let out a light chuckle and, with a flick of his finger in the air, the gigantic vine that had bound more than 1,700 true gods immediately loosened its grip, releasing all the true gods. Then, the vine that was massive to the extreme suddenly shrunk to a small segment several feet in length and shot back into the hands of the Yen clan's ancient emperor. Seeing that the Yen clan's ancient emperor had released their people, the old clan leaders of the Flying Spirit clan and Vermilion Bird clan looked down, swept their sleeves, and with all the freed true gods, as well as the 6th, 7th, and 8th Tribulation True Gods who had been hiding earlier, they all flew upwards into the sky. Master! At this moment, Bing Yi flew directly to Yi Chen's side, looked at him and asked, "Shall we just let them leave like this?" Yi Chen's eyes, filled with raging fury, gazed at the sky. He knew that, although Bing Yi was extraordinarily powerful, he had still not stepped into the God King level and remained a 9th Tribulation True God. Facing these myriad true gods, including the two same-rank 9th Tribulation True Gods who had cultivated for countless years and had the strong heritage of the ancient clans, relying purely on the power of Bing Yi alone, they would be unable to block them all. The help he could offer Bing Yi was too insignificant. The presence of the Yen clan's ancient emperor had deterred these two clans and spared the barbaric wilderness continent from destruction. Now that they were going to let these people leave, Yi Chun didn't feel it right to object. Yi Chun had made a firm resolution in his heart that he must become stronger, and one day not let these people be so rampant. The grudge of attacking the Divine Phoenix clan and the resentment towards those endangering the barbaric wilderness continent will be avenged one by one. For this time, he would let these people go. As if sensing Yi Chen's thoughts, the Yen clan's ancient emperor chuckled and said to Yi Chun, "Young friend, the cataclysm of the minor spirit realm is already upon us. These people are alive for a greater purpose. It's fine to let them go now. Should they survive this cataclysm, you can settle your scores with them later. As for the barbaric wilderness continent, you need not worry, young friend. I'll cast the ancient emperor's true seal, to prevent them from coming to the lower realm to cause harm again. While speaking, the ancient emperor looked towards Bing Yi. Joined with this friend's powerful presence for deterrence, I'm afraid the Flying Spirit clan and the Vermilion Bird clan won't dare to venture to the lower realm again. A few months from now, when the cataclysm unfolds fully, and the threat of the Great Purification looms, they certainly won't have the heart to attend to matters of the lower realm anymore. The cataclysm of the minor spirit realm has already arrived. A few months from now, the cataclysm unfolds fully, and the threat of the Great Purification looms? The words of the ancient emperor caused Yi Chun to startle. At that moment, the ancient emperor of the Yen clan didn't say anything more, but his figure moved, and he flew towards the sky. His voice rang out, echoing majestically in the ears of all the true gods from the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan who were flying towards the outer space of the barbaric wilderness continent. Fellow Taoists, as true gods from the upper realm, I allow you to leave this time, but you must not descend to the lower realm to cause harm again. Otherwise, I will not let you leave so easily next time. If you descend to cause harm again, you will be shown no mercy. Boom! 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 As the ancient emperor of the Yen clan spoke, he formed a hand seal that pointed into the void, and divine symbols flickered with spiritual light, finally, all merging into the vast emptiness above the barbaric wilderness continent. Seeing the divine symbols pointed out by the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, the elders of the Flying Spirit clan and the Vermilion Bird clan were both shocked, cursing in their hearts. The ancient emperor's true seal, this old fellow, he really intends to protect the void above the barbaric wilderness continent. Humph, even if we cannot descend to the lower realm, I don't believe that these warriors from the barbaric wilderness continent won't go to the upper realm. The moment we discover them, we will show no mercy. Let's go. After gritting their teeth, these true gods of the Flying Spirit clan and the Vermilion Bird clan, knowing the overall situation was against them, burned their divine power and eventually all passed through the spatial barrier of the barbaric wilderness continent, disappearing without a trace. Below, seeing these true gods from the two clans completely disappear, and hearing that a supreme powerful being would protect their entire barbaric wilderness continent, all the warriors and people within the jade pendant of ice and snow cheered wildly. Their homeland was saved. They could finally return to their homes. As long as their homeland was preserved, they believed that Yi Chun, the incredible young genius of the barbaric wilderness continent, would eventually grow strong enough to instill fear in these true gods from both clans by himself, even without the help of this supreme powerful being, and protect the entire barbaric wilderness continent. Seeing the true gods from the Flying Spirit clan and the Vermilion Bird clan vanish, Zhang Yao, the true phoenix, and Mulan true god also deeply suppressed the hatred in their eyes, knowing that letting these people go was only temporary, and their vengeance would be exacted sooner or later. Bing Wu, Bing Qi, and Bing Yi also stood by Yi Chen's side. Huameyer, who had been silent all this time, finally spoke up. Yi Chun, why didn't you tell me when your barbaric wilderness continent faced such a great threat? I only heard about the great battle in the Southern Territory from a warrior from the barbaric wilderness continent who arrived at the Leaving Fire continent. Otherwise, during the great battle in the Southern Territory, I would have brought the heavenly saints of the Leaving Fire continent to help you. When I heard that countless true gods might be descending to threaten you, I rushed to seek help from my aunt and the others at the Baiming clan. There was a major event happening with the Baiming clan, and my aunt directed me to pay respects to the ancient emperor. Thankfully, the ancient emperor descended to the lower realm. Ding Xiaojia also added, Brother Yi Chun, when I found out about the threat to the barbaric wilderness continent, I went straight to the Yen clan. Our Jumong continent is a subsidiary continent of the Yen clan. As a result, I ran into Huameyer who had come to seek help, and the ancient emperor himself descended when he heard about your situation. By the way, Brother Yi Chun, the last time you didn't come out of Mount Wuxing, where did you go? Could it be that you were really sent to the legendary minor ultimate heaven? From the words of Huameyer and Ding Xiaojia, Yi Chun finally understood why the ancient emperor of the Yen clan had descended to help. It turned out that Huameyer had sought help from the Baiming clan, who in turn directed her to seek the assistance of the ancient emperor of the Yen clan. Meanwhile, Ding Xiaojia had gone directly to the Yan clan, alerting the ancient emperor. However, what surprised Yi Chun even more was that Ding Xiaojia and the others actually knew that he had gone to the minor ultimate heaven. Furthermore, Huomeier mentioned that a major event was about to unfold with the Baiming clan, and the ancient emperor of the Yan clan had previously mentioned that a great change had arrived in the minor spirit realm, and a vast cleansing threat was imminent. Yi Chen's mind was filled with countless doubts. Clearly, something unknown to him had happened in the minor spirit realm. With this in mind, Yi Chun nodded with a smile at Huomeier and Ding Xiaojia, then hurriedly called out to the ancient emperor of the Yan clan, "Senior Ancient Emperor, what did you mean when you said a great change has come to the minor spirit realm? What exactly has happened? What has transpired in the minor spirit realm?" Chapter 550. Hearing Yi Chen's question, Jiang Yao, True Phoenix, Mulan True God, Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi, who were beside Yi Chun, also turned their gazes toward the ancient emperor of the Yan clan, because they realized that after Yi Chun asked his question, the previously indifferent smiling face of the ancient emperor of the Yan clan became extremely serious, his brows furrowing tightly. Clearly, the great changes in the minor spirit realm involved very serious matters. The ancient emperor of the Yan clan looked up at the sky, toward the minor spirit realm above the barbaric wilderness continent. After a few moments, he turned his head back to Yi Chun. "Young friend Yi Chun, the great changes in the minor spirit realm are a calamity that all true gods and heavenly saints of the minor spirit realm must face, as must all the heavenly saints from the 33 continents of the lower realm. If this calamity cannot be overcome, all true gods and heavenly saints of the minor spirit realm and all heavenly saints of the 33 continents of the lower realm may very well perish." Boom! The words of the ancient emperor of the Yan clan left everyone present in shock. All the true gods and heavenly saints will die. How is that possible? What kind of calamity could kill all true gods and heavenly saints? Keep in mind, even the divine battles of the three ancient clans of the Divine Phoenix clan, Vermilion Bird clan, and Flying Spirit clan in the minor spirit realm couldn't possibly result in the death of all the true gods and heavenly saints. Even someone as powerful as Bing Yi, a 9 tribulations true god, could only claim to have killed hundreds of true gods from the Flying Spirit clan. Upon the arrival of even more true gods, he would be unable to kill them all. Moreover, this involved the entire minor spirit realm and all the 33 continents of the lower realm. What kind of power could cover such a vast area, affecting so many warriors? Even a divine king would hardly be able to do this. Seeing the astonishment on the faces of Yi Chun and the others, True Phoenix and Mulan True God seemed to think of something even more shocking. Their eyes wide with horror when the ancient emperor of the Yan clan waved his hand and a vast map projection appeared out of nowhere in the void. This projection was a scaled-down map of the entire minor spirit realm. Within the projection, a large expanse of ocean in the northern region of the minor spirit realm was conspicuously displayed in a sinister and unusual blood-red color by the ancient emperor of the Yan clan. Seeing this ocean, True Phoenix and Mulan True God exchanged a glance and exclaimed, "The North Dark Divine Sea, Ancient Emperor. Could it be that the legendary Great Cleansing Calamity is about to descend upon the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents once more?" True Phoenix and Mulan True God, coming from the Divine Phoenix clan, the most powerful among the 6 ancient clans of the minor spirit realm, obviously had surmised something from the information revealed by the ancient emperor of the Yan clan. Upon hearing the words "Great Cleansing" from True Phoenix and Mulan True God, Yi Chen's heart tightened even further. He knew that a situation more dire than the battle in the southern skies, more dire than the arrival of hundreds of true gods to the barbaric wilderness continent, and more dire than the combined invasion of the Flying Spirit clan and Vermilion Bird clan to the barbaric wilderness continent was about to unfold. The ancient emperor of the Yan clan, with a grave expression, nodded in response to the words of True Phoenix and Mulan True God. He pointed his finger toward the vast ocean occupying nearly half of the border of the northern region of the minor spirit realm in the void map projection, explaining to Yi Chun, Bing Yi, Bing Wu, Bing Qi, and the others, this ocean is the famously known North Dark Divine Sea of the minor spirit realm. The North Dark Divine Sea is flanked by the 2 ancient clans, the North Dark clan and the Blood God clan. Yichun nodded. He had heard of the disputes between the North Dark Clan and the Blood God Clan over the North Dark Divine Sea from the divine weapon Fallen Sword. After encountering the three-eyed skeleton in the Five Elements Mountain, he had come to understand even more about the ongoing enmity between the two ancient clans because of the North Dark Divine Sea. Could it be that this great calamity was related to the North Dark Divine Sea? The ancient emperor of the Yen clan continued, "The reason why it is called a divine sea, and why the North Dark Clan and Blood God Clan are constantly vying for it, is because this sea is a place that all true gods of our entire minor spirit realm cannot comprehend. This divine sea is shrouded in mystery and, according to legend, has existed in the northern region of the minor spirit realm since the birth of the minor spirit realm continent. No one is allowed to set foot in this divine sea. Even if I, as a Nine Tribulations true god, were to enter the North Dark Divine Sea, I would certainly die without a doubt. There are rumors that even God-King level beings, after coming to the minor spirit realm and attempting to enter the North Dark Divine Sea, perished directly." Boom! Yichun was taken aback by the words of the ancient emperor of the Yen clan. Divine kings would perish entering the North Dark Divine Sea. What in the world could be inside this North Dark Divine Sea? If the North Dark Divine Sea cannot be entered, why do the North Dark Clan and the Blood God Clan still contest for this sea? Yichun couldn't help but ask out loud. The ancient emperor of the Yen clan explained, "That is because, although one cannot enter the sea, treasures continue to fly out from it. The treasures that emerge are at least of sacred artifact level, with higher level ones being superior divine artifacts. Many of the ancient treasures, nearly reaching heaven-reaching divine artifact status that serve as the defining treasures of these ancient clans, are almost all obtained after they flew out of the North Dark Divine Sea. Moreover, it's rumored that deep within the North Ming God Sea, countless heaven-reaching divine artifacts are hidden. Some people even claim to have seen the mysterious heavenly divine artifact of a God-King level. Heaven-reaching divine artifacts. Mysterious heavenly divine artifacts." Yichun's mind was reeling. He felt that there must be unimaginable secrets hidden within the North Ming God Sea. The ancient emperor of the Yen clan said, "The ancient treasures that the two old clan chiefs of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan fought over with Bing Yi just now came from the North Ming God Sea. This divine sea, being so far from the three ancient clans to the south, makes it difficult for them to compete for its treasures. But the North Ming clan and the Blood God clan are right on the border of the North Ming God Sea. So for the treasures that fly out of it, can you imagine they wouldn't fight over them? Treasures flying out. Explore new worlds at Novelbin. Calm. The lowest grade among them are sacred artifacts, while higher grades include divine artifacts, superior divine artifacts, and even ancient treasures close to heaven-reaching divine artifacts." Yichun finally understood why the North Ming clan and the Blood God clan had always wanted to dominate the North Ming God Sea. To dominate the North Ming God Sea was to greatly increase the chances of obtaining the treasures that flew out of it. However, what connection does this North Ming God Sea, from which treasures constantly flew out, have with the great cleansing catastrophe? Furthermore, if even divine kings cannot enter the North Ming God Sea, how does anyone know that heaven-reaching divine artifacts and even mysterious heavenly divine artifacts are hidden deep within it? How did those who saw the heaven-reaching divine artifacts and mysterious heavenly divine artifacts manage to enter the North Ming God Sea? Before Yichun could ask, the ancient emperor of the Yen clan already spoke up. "The North Ming God Sea, in normal times, is indeed a blessed land for our entire minor spirit realm. The countless treasures that fly out from it are used by the martial artists of our entire minor spirit realm. However, the North Ming God Sea is not always a blessed land for the minor spirit realm. It bestows treasures to the minor spirit realm, but after a certain period, the North Ming God Sea will also bring a life and death threat to the entire minor spirit realm and even to the 33 continents of the lower realm. When this life and death threat arrives, a huge change will occur throughout the North Ming God Sea. All the seawater in the North Ming God Sea will begin to retreat, eventually revealing layer upon layer of undersea divine palaces within the North Ming God Sea. When all 33 layers of the undersea divine palace in the entire North Mingad Sea are exposed, the palace will emit an incredible suction force, drawing in all the true gods and heavenly saints born in the entire minor spirit realm, as well as all the heavenly saints from the 33 continents of the lower realm into the undersea divine palace. All those inside will face countless threats and deadly crises, but they will also have the opportunity to come into contact with infinite treasures and numerous cultivation paradises. However, everyone has one mission, and that is, within 1 year of entering the undersea divine palace, they must find the hidden Eye of Creation within the palace. Finding the Eye of Creation will allow one to successfully escape from the North Mingad Sea when its waters refill the entire sea at the end of that 1 year. But within the tremendously vast 33 layers of undersea divine palace, it's rumored that there are at most 33 Eyes of Creation. This means that even if all 33 Eyes of Creation were to be found, at most only 33 people could escape from the North Mingad Sea. But among the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents of the lower realm, there are far more than 33 true gods and heavenly saints, easily hundreds of thousands. The rest who don't get an Eye of Creation will all die inside the North Mingad Sea when the waters return and fill it once again. As he said this, the ancient emperor of the Yen clan looked at Yi Chun. Young friend Yi Chun, think about it. There are at most 33 chances to escape from the undersea divine palace, but every person has countless friends. Even for your heavenly sacred palace, there are innumerable heavenly saints. Even if all 33 Eyes of Creation were obtained by the heavenly sacred palace, many heavenly saints would still perish. Not to mention that in addition to the countless heavenly saints from the barbaric wilderness continent, there are also heavenly saints from the other 32 continents, countless true gods and heavenly saints from the minor spirit realm. In the end, all the true gods and heavenly saints who didn't obtain an Eye of Creation will die in the North Mingad Sea, which is why it is called the Great Cleansing Catastrophe. The Great Cleansing represents the near-total extermination of all the strong from the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents, fundamentally altering the landscape of the entire minor spirit realm and the 33 continents. Now, the 6 ancient clans of the minor spirit realm were established by heavenly saint true gods who were lucky enough to survive the previous Great Cleansing. Before the last Great Cleansing catastrophe, there were many more ancient clans older than the 6 ancient clans, but after all their strong were killed in the North Mingad Sea, those ancient clans completely fell into ruin and were utterly wiped out. Boom! 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 The words of the ancient emperor of the Yen clan sent shockwaves through Yi Chen's heart. So the 6 ancient clans were founded by heavenly saint true gods who had luckily survived the last Great Cleansing. Even more ancient clans had perished in the previous cataclysmic event. No wonder there had been no divine kings emerging for so many years in the minor spirit realm, and the number of true gods had always been limited. It was the repeated Great Cleansing catastrophes of the North Mingad Sea wiping out countless true gods and heavenly saints that kept the number of true gods in the minor spirit realm so scarce. Otherwise, with the endless passage of years, the number of true gods in the minor spirit realm would likely have been beyond imagination. Chapter 551-Eye of the Divine Sea. Cataclysm. This colossal upheaval brewing in the North Dark Sea, which could almost annihilate all the heavenly saints and true gods in the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents, indeed, was a vast catastrophe of cleansing. Senior, there must be other ways to avoid the Great Cleansing of the North Dark Sea. Yi Chun asked the ancient emperor of the Yen clan. If there were no alternatives, countless true gods and heavenly saints could only hope for at most 33 survivors. Given this, the ancient emperor of the Yen clan who had learned of the news should have specially prepared a response within his clan. His descent to the mortal realm, and his specific conversation with Yi Chun, made Yi Chun feel that the ancient emperor had more to say. As Yi Chun guessed, the ancient emperor of the Yen clan nodded and said, "To avoid death in the Great Cleansing catastrophe of the North Dark Sea, the first method is as I previously mentioned, finding the Eye of Creation. However, the Eye of Creation can at most save 33 people. It's not enough. This number is definitely not enough. Not for all the sects and ancient clans. Not for all the martial artists. The second method, on the other hand, can ensure the safe escape of everyone drawn into the undersea divine palace of the North Dark Sea. That is, to find another item within the North Dark Sea, the Eye of the Divine Sea. The Eye of Creation can only save an individual, but the Eye of the Divine Sea has the power to save everyone. It is rumored that the Eye of the Divine Sea is the most unfathomable object in the North Dark Sea. As long as we find the Eye of the Divine Sea and return it to its special location within the North Dark Sea, then everyone who has been drawn in can be safely transported out. And the one who finds the Eye of the Sea God will gain an inconceivable and divine encounter. I sought you out this time, partly to resolve the crisis of the Vermilion Bird Clan and Flying Spirit Clan's encirclement, and partly to discuss with you the matter of finding the Eye of the Divine Sea. The Eye of the Divine Sea, to rescue everyone. Ichin nodded, indeed. This mysterious and immeasurable North Dark Sea could not be aiming simply to exterminate everyone with a great cleansing. It had evidently left a lifeline for the heavenly saints and true gods of the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents. As for what the ancient emperor of the Yen clan mentioned, about discussing the search for the Eye of the Sea God with him, Yichun was somewhat puzzled. After all, he was merely a martial artist at the early stages of the heavenly saint realm, and even though his combat strength was now on par with someone of the first tribulation true god level, he surely wasn't significant compared to the countless true gods of the minor spirit realm. Why had the ancient emperor of the Yen clan sought him out specifically? Could it be because of Bing Yi, a 9 tribulations true god? Yet Yi Chun distinctly felt that the reason the ancient emperor of the Yen clan came to him didn't seem related to Bing Yi at all. Seeing Yi Chen's perplexity, the ancient emperor of the Yen clan said, "Young friend Yi Chun, although almost no one is aware of your transmission from the 5 Elements Mountain to the minor pole sky, I am. Because in the Yen clan's ancestral canon, there is a record of the astonishing heavenly phenomena that occur during the transmission to the minor pole sky. Later, when I heard that Ding Xiaojia and Huameier, these 2 little ones, came to the Yen clan seeking help and mentioned your disappearance in the 5 Elements Mountain, I knew then that the one who went to the minor pole sky had to be you. Senior, indeed I have been to the minor pole sky," Yi Chun nodded. "But what does going to the minor pole sky have to do with searching for the Eye of the Divine Sea?" Yi Chun now finally understood why Ding Xiaojia and Huameier could move the ancient emperor of the Yen clan to action. It turned out that the ancient emperor had long been paying attention to matters regarding the minor pole sky. Hence he took special interest in him and descended to his realm. Hearing Yi Chen's question, the ancient emperor of the Yen clan said, "The minor pole sky is a legendary divine venerable level training ground, available only to those with exceptional destiny and unparalleled talent to seize such opportunity. Furthermore, according to the records in the ancestral canon of my Yen clan, after investigating numerous ancient records of past generations, among the known great cleansings of the North Dark Sea, out of 84 cases, only 5 had someone find the Eye of the Divine Sea and thus avoided being eradicated by the cleansing. Among those 5 who found the Eye of the Sea God, 2 had once been to the minor pole sky. This suggests that those who have been to the minor pole sky possess an extraordinary destiny, and they might well help the entire minor spirit realm and the 33 continents to escape this great catastrophe. Young friend Yi Chun, your ability to reach the minor pole sky after countless eons, and the coincidental timing of the turbulent changes in the North Dark Sea, naturally compelled me to find you and inform you of all this. Perhaps with your destiny, you too can obtain the Eye of the Divine Sea this time and spare everyone from this disaster. Of course, the Eye of the Sea God is notoriously difficult to locate, potentially appearing anywhere within the 33 levels of the Undersea Divine Palace. The search for the Eye of the Sea God is a task for everyone, and this matter won't be solely entrusted to you. The reason I let those numerous true gods from the Vermilion Bird Clan and the Flying Spirit Clan escape was that, once they enter the Undersea Divine Palace of the North Dark Sea, they will also search for the Eye of the Sea God for their own safety. The more people searching, the greater the chances of finding the Eye of the Sea God. For countless true gods and heavenly saints of the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents to survive this great calamity, everyone must make an effort to seek out that Eye of the Sea God. This is, after all, about the survival of everyone. Towards the end, The voice of the ancient emperor of the Yen clan trembled with excitement. Even though he was a nine-tribulation true god, facing the great cleansing catastrophe of the divine sea in the far north, he was hardly able to extricate himself, and was naturally extremely nervous. Although he was somewhat confident that with the appearance of the Eye of Creation, he, with the strength of a nine-tribulation true god, could obtain one, he also had countless clansmen to consider. He couldn't just think of his own survival. He wanted everyone to survive. 33 Eyes of Creation were definitely not enough. Even if he obtained them all, they would not save all his clansmen, so of course, he wanted to find the Eye of the Divine Sea. The words of the ancient emperor of the Yen clan stirred waves in Yi Chen's heart. He finally understood why the ancient emperor of the Yen clan specifically mentioned the upheaval of the Divine Sea in the far north. It turned out that the ancient emperor of the Yen clan wanted to make use of his fate and have him earnestly search for the Eye of the Sea God as well. Yi Chen certainly decided in his heart that if he was truly drawn into the undersea divine palace in the divine sea of the far north, then for his own survival and the survival of those around him, he would earnestly explore for both the Eye of Creation and Eye of the Sea God. He would explore at all costs. However, Yi Chen also knew that since the ancient emperor of the Yen clan said that in the 84 great cleansings that have been investigated, only 5 resulted in the discovery of the Eye of the Sea God, it indicated that the chances of finding the Eye of the Sea God were extremely low, and the likelihood of everyone being annihilated in the great cleansing was extremely high. If there was any way to avoid entering the divine sea of the far north, Yi Chen naturally did not want to enter. Not entering the divine sea of the far north means not having to fear the great cleansing annihilation conducted on the people inside the undersea divine palace when the waters of the divine sea in the far north refill the entire sea. Senior, is there any way to avoid being drawn into the undersea divine palace of the divine sea in the far north? Yi Chen asked, looking at the ancient emperor of the Yen clan. I mean, if someone hides in a heaven-reaching divine artifact, or let's say, flies away from the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents, is there any way to avoid this catastrophe? If this method worked, Yi Chen had an extremely good heaven-reaching divine artifact flying ship left behind by the divine king of ice on hand. He could take all the familiar heavenly saints and true gods into the flying ship to avoid the great calamity and even leave the celestial spirit star. The ancient emperor of the Yen clan shook his head. Unless one has surpassed the realm of true gods and reached the God-King realm, they will not be actively drawn in after the upheaval of the divine sea in the far north. All others, as long as they are heavenly saints and true gods transformed from the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents, will absolutely not escape this great absorption. Even if they have fled from the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents, they would still be pulled back by boundless power. Young friend Yi Chen, the divine sea of the far north is a mysterious place where even divine kings can be killed, filled with divine venerable level mysterious heavenly divine artifacts. The great secrets inside are simply beyond our knowledge, and it's quite possible that not even divine venerables can comprehend them. It wants to cleanse all the true gods and heavenly saints. Apart from following its rules and searching for the Eye of Creation and Eye of the Divine Sea to escape the great cleansing, there is no other way. You will learn all these matters after you enter the divine sea of the far north, from the inscriptions in the first layer of the undersea divine palace. In this great calamity, none of us can escape. Boom! The words of the ancient emperor of the Yen clan shattered the last bit of wishful thinking in Yi Chen's heart. It looked like once the divine sea in the far north began its absorption of true gods and heavenly saints, then he, the true phoenix, the Mulan true god, and other heavenly saints like the Lord of Yuanli Palace, would definitely not escape this great absorption. Fortunately, Jiang Yao had not yet stepped into the heavenly saint realm, so she might avoid this great cleansing. But upon hearing that Yi Chen, the true phoenix, and the Mulan true god would be drawn into the divine sea in the far north, Jiang Yao's eyes were already filled with worry. She gripped Yi Chen's hand tightly, and even her voice trembled as she asked the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, "Ancient Emperor, how much longer until the great absorption of the divine sea in the far north occurs?" She had already lost countless clansmen. She did not want to let Yi Chen, nor did she want the true phoenix and the Mulan true god, her two aunts, enter a place where life and death were completely unpredictable. Yet, from the meaning of the ancient emperor of the Yen clan's words, they were definitely going to be involved. The divine sea in the far north has already begun to change. The waters have started to recede. The Vermilion Bird clan and the Blood God clan are constantly watching the divine sea in the far north. The ancient emperor of the Yen clan took a deep breath and slowly said, "According to the records in the ancestral canon, I'm afraid at most, there are only 3 months left. By then, the waters within the divine sea in the far north will have completely receded. The undersea divine palace will be fully exposed, and all the true gods and heavenly saints will be absorbed into it. Once drawn in, there is 1 year to find the Eye of Creation and Eye of the Sea God within the Sea God divine palace. Once the year is up, if they have not come out from the divine sea in the far north, then when the waters there resume, everyone inside will die in the great cleansing annihilation." Only 3 months left? Jiang Yao clenched her teeth, biting her lips tightly as her face turned pale. With at most 3 months left, Yi Chun, the true phoenix, and the Mulan true god would face the immensely terrifying threat of the divine sea in the far north, and Jiang Yao was utterly overwhelmed with worry. Continue your saga on Novelbin.com. Whether it is the 33 eyes of creation or the Eye of the divine sea, which was found only 5 times in the 84 great cleansings, the chances of finding them were incredibly slim. If Yi Chun, the true phoenix, and the Mulan true god were annihilated in the great cleansing of the divine sea in the far north, Jiang Yao didn't know how she would face it. She even had a resolute thought in her heart to quickly break through to the heavenly saint realm, to enter the divine sea in the far north with Yi Chun, to live or die together. Chapter 552. Seeing Jiang Yao's expression, Yi Chun knew what worries occupied her mind, what she was thinking. Yi Chun firmly grasped Jiang Yao's hand. No matter what, he would not let Jiang Yao suffer any harm, since this great cleansing was inevitable, since he could not escape being swept into this catastrophe. Then no matter what, he had to get through this ordeal of great cleansing, not only for himself but also to ensure that those close to him would get through, even striving to ensure everyone made it through this disaster. The Eye of the divine sea. Even if he had to comb through all 33 layers of the undersea divine palace, he would find it. Seeing Yi Chen's extremely grave expression, and after everyone fully absorbed the news, the ancient emperor of the Yen clan finally looked at Bing Yi beside Yi Chun and asked, "This fellow cultivator has reached the 9th tribulation true god, but I have never seen you in the minor spirit realm. Are you not from our realm?" Bing Yi shook her head and looked towards Yi Chun. "I was brought to Celestial Spirit Star by my old master, and now, my new master is Yi Chun. A person from other star continents?" The ancient emperor of the Yen clan was inwardly shaken. What shook him even more was the fact that a being of the same rank as himself was willing to address Yi Chun as master. If it were an ordinary time, he would probably have bombarded Bing Yi with endless questions about other star continents. But with the great cleansing catastrophe imminent, and the outcome of life and death unknown, he did not have the mindset to inquire anymore. The ancient emperor of the Yen clan simply said to Bing Yi, "Since fellow cultivator comes from another star continent, and is not a heavenly saint true god born from the minor spirit realm, nor the 33 continents, you do not need to be involved in this catastrophe." There was envy in the ancient emperor of the Yen clan's words for Bing Yi. Even as a 9th tribulation true god, if he got involved in the great cleansing catastrophe of the northern dark divine sea, death was a very likely possibility, and naturally he envied Bing Yi not having to face this enormous risk. However, in the midst of the ancient emperor's envious look, Bing Yi said directly, "If I'm not involved, I will still follow my master into the undersea divine palace of the northern dark divine sea, and those eyes of creation, I will definitely help my master obtain them." Bing Yi was a 9th tribulation true god, among the absolute pinnacle in both the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents. She naturally did not want Yi Chun to venture into the northern dark divine sea alone. Bing Yi was confident that accompanying Yi Chun would provide greater help to him. At the very least, absolutely no one would dare to provoke Yi Chun. But no sooner had Bing Yi said this than the ancient emperor shook his head. After the great cleansing catastrophe descends, All life forms not from the minor spirit realm or the 33 continents will be absolutely unable to enter the undersea divine palace of the northern dark divine sea. Even if you were to fly into the northern dark divine sea at this stage, you would be repelled by the boundless power. What? When the ancient emperor said this, not only was Bing Yi greatly shocked, but Bing Qi and Bing Qi were also taken completely by surprise. They, of course, all wanted to accompany Yi Chun to the undersea divine palace of the northern dark divine sea. The best chance they had was to face this catastrophe together with Yi Chun. But if none of them could accompany Yi Chun, then even though his powers far surpassed all heavenly saints now, even capable of battling lower-tier true gods, he would still be in immense danger facing the countless high-tier true gods of the minor spirit realm. Not to mention, there were the numerous dangers inherent to the undersea divine palace of the northern dark divine sea itself. The great cleansing catastrophe of the northern dark divine sea is a tribulation and a test of life and death for the heavenly saint true gods of the minor spirit realm and 33 continents. Others cannot participate. The ancient emperor of the Yen clan finally shook his head and sighed again. In the end, he said to Yi Chun, "Young friend Yi Chun, I have told you everything about the great cleansing catastrophe. Now, I too must return to the Yen clan to make proper arrangements to confront this great disaster. When the catastrophe truly descends, young friend Yi Chun, we shall meet again." Boom! After the ancient emperor finished speaking, with a sweep of his sleeves, he flew into the void. The 3/8 tribulation true gods beside him nodded at Yi Chun and then ascended into the sky. Yen Linger cast a glance at Yi Chun and after saying her farewells, followed behind the ancient emperor of the Yen clan and the 3/8 tribulation true gods into the sky. In an instant, they all vanished completely from sight. Master! Although the ancient emperor of the Yen clan had left, the shocking information he imparted left everyone present unsettled, especially Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi, who all rallied to Yi Chen's side, looking at him. They never expected that having just met their new powerful master, they would soon face separation and never anticipated that their new master would be swept up into such a terrible great cleansing catastrophe. All right, seeing Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi with countless things to say, Yi Chen smiled and silenced them with a gesture. Yi Chen's gaze turned towards the entire barbaric wilderness continent, looking up to the void of the minor spirit realm above. Since this great disaster is unavoidable, then before it arrives, there are some matters that must be completely resolved. The first matter Yi Chen sought to resolve was to bring back all of the Divine Phoenix clan members who had fled to the 33 continents after the chaos within their clan. At this time, Huameyer and Ding Xiaojia, who had heard the dire news of the great cleansing catastrophe, were completely unable to stay calm. Although Huameyer was neither in the heavenly saint realm nor the true god realm and would not be involved in this great calamity, she had seniors who were saints and even true gods, and she naturally had to go and inform them. As for Ding Xiaojia, who was only at the initial stage of the heavenly saint realm, his face had turned pale upon hearing that in just 2 or 3 months, he would be engulfed in a terrifying great cleansing catastrophe. He needed to rush back to the Zhoumang continent to discuss these matters with the seniors of his clan. While Huameyer and Ding Xiaojia hastily bid farewell to Yi Chen, he immediately sent Bing Qi to accompany Mulan Tru, god to the Li Fire continent, and Zhoumang continent to search for the members of the Divine Phoenix clan. Likewise, Yi Chen had Bing Yi accompany True Phoenix to the other continents among the 33 to search for the Divine Phoenix clan members there. With True Phoenix present, and even the 9 tribulations true god Bing Yi, Yi Chen believed that all the Divine Phoenix clan members scattered across the lower realm's 33 continents could be brought back. Although Zhang Yao was extremely eager to bring back the clan members herself, she was even more adamant about entering the Divine Phoenix clan's divine treasure, which had a 10-fold increase in cultivation time, to break through to the heavenly saint realm. She planned to join Yi Chen on the journey to the Beiming Divine Sea later on. Even the efforts of True Phoenix and Mulan True God to dissuade her could not shake Zhang Yao's determination. True Phoenix and Mulan True God also understood that they were the closest to Zhang Yao. She did not want them to risk everything alone, nor did she want to experience an unpredictable outcome again. She wanted to be personally involved. In the end, True Phoenix and Mulan True God could only agree to let Zhang Yao attempt to break through to the Heavenly Saint realm. Yi Chun knew in his heart that upon hearing of the great cleansing catastrophe in the Beiming Divine Sea, Zhang Yao would have such thoughts. He had already decided that he would not let Zhang Yao suffer any harm, regardless of whether she went to the Beiming Divine Sea or not. He would ensure her safety. Even if Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi could not enter the Beiming Divine Sea or accompany him, Yi Chun had many trump cards in his hand. Should any true god dare to provoke him or Zhang Yao, even higher-ranking true gods would face a situation from which they could not return. Besides retrieving the Divine Phoenix clan members, which was the most critical issue, the second matter Yi Chun needed to address was related to the Thousand Lotus Cave Abode. The Thousand Lotus Cave Abode, the mortal enemy of Heavenly Saint Qianji and Heavenly Saint Lianyu, Elder Tuoshan, had been captured and utterly defeated by him. Yi Chun had promised the shadow left behind by Heavenly Saint Qianji in the Thousand Lotus Cave Abode that he would one day capture Elder Tuoshan and bring him back there. A promise made to Heavenly Saint Qianji was, of course, a promise Yi Chun would fulfill. Before Zhang Yao went into secluded cultivation, Yi Chun specially took her to the Thousand Lotus Cave Abode. The Thousand Lotus Cave Abode was where Yi Chun and Zhang Yao had first met. The pair revisited it with many emotions flooding their hearts. If it were not for the looming shadow of the great cleansing catastrophe, both Yi Chun and Zhang Yao would have prepared to stay in the Thousand Lotus Cave Abode a little longer. When Yi Chun and Zhang Yao returned to the Thousand Lotus Cave Abode, the three-eyed giant ape and the giant feathered bird, which originally guarded the inner and outer parts of the abode and whom Yi Chun and Zhang Yao had met before, were completely dumbfounded by the overwhelmingly terrifying aura emanating from them. Only a few years had passed since the pair, one in the true Qi realm and the other in the flying spirit realm, were far weaker than these two creatures. Now they had cultivated to an untouchable height. Even when the three-eyed giant ape learned that Yi Chen's true combat power had reached the true god level, it was so astonished that it couldn't speak. It wasn't until Yi Chun threw the crippled elder Tuoshan out of his spatial treasure, and the shock of seeing him finally brought the three-eyed giant ape and giant feathered bird back to their senses. Eventually, under the guidance of two mounts of heavenly saints, Yi Chun and Zhang Yao met the shadow of Heavenly Saint Qianji and saw Heavenly Saint Lianyu, who was severely injured and unconscious after her flying sword exploded, for the first time. When Yi Chun brought the crippled elder Tuoshan to the side of Heavenly Saint Qianji's shadow, Heavenly Saint Qianji looked at the unconscious Lianyu, tears streaming down his face. "Lianyu, do you see this? Tuoshan, who once harmed us both, has been captured by Yi Chun and Zhang Yao, the successors of our flying swords." Of course, Yi Chun would not let Lianyu remain unconscious indefinitely. The body of Heavenly Saint Qianji had gone to the minor spirit realm and had not yet returned. This time, he might encounter the body of Heavenly Saint Qianji in the great cleansing catastrophe. As for Heavenly Saint Lianyu, severely injured from her flying sword's explosion with her cultivation completely destroyed, she was no longer considered a heavenly saint and would not be swept up in the great cleansing catastrophe. Yi Chun left several of his precious secret treasures with Lianyu. Yi Chun was confident that with these secret treasures, Lianyu needed only a few months at most to completely recover from the life-threatening injuries caused by the self-explosion of her flying sword. In a few more months, she would be able to wake up and even start cultivating again. Yi Chun lamented in his heart that if he survived this great cleansing catastrophe, and if Heavenly Saint Qianji did as well, perhaps next time he returned, he might see Heavenly Saint Qianji and Lianyu in true form reunited. Having settled the matters of the Thousand Lotus Cave Abode, Zhang Yao entered the true tenfold accelerated time cultivation divine treasure and began her assault on the Heavenly Saint realm. And Yi Chun moved on to his third matter. That was to find Heavenly Saint Dekong for the little monkey. Chapter 553-. The catastrophe of the Great Purge descends. Yi Chun remembered that Heavenly Saint Long Xian had mentioned before that he had once sensed the power of Heavenly Saint Dekong in the Ice Palace snowfield of the northern region of the barbaric wilderness continent. This was the closest Yi Chun had come to knowing of Heavenly Saint Dekong's whereabouts. At the sword-fighting tournament in Immeasurable Mountain, Yi Chun had even encountered Murong Chi-Chi from the Ice Palace snowfield. Morong Chichi had promised to help Yi Chun investigate news of Heavenly Saint Dekong. Later, Yi Chun had entered the Heavenly Sacred Palace, the Icebound Subtemple, the Five Elements Mountain, Minor Pole Sky, and even been through the battle in the Southern Territory and the Great War against Qishao True God, as well as witnessing hundreds of true gods from the lower realm and countless true spirits of both the Flying Spirit Clan and the Vermilion Bird Clan arriving from other realms. A series of momentous events. Now, Yi Chun finally had the time and the power to look for Heavenly Saint Dekong. Although Yi Chun's cultivation level was only in the early stages of Heavenly Saint Realm, his combat power was now unmatched across the entire barbaric wilderness continent. He could go anywhere he wanted. Yi Chun also remembered the scene when he first saw the incredible Dharma embodiment of Heavenly Saint Dekong through the ancestral blood within his family. At that time, the true body of Heavenly Saint Dekong was a golden behemoth taller than a giant mountain, its length over 1,000 zhang, dressed in a purple-golden holy robe, crowned with a gold-illuminating crown, wielding a huge black staff, and cloaked in a long red cape, standing proudly in the void. A majestic presence that left a deep impression on Yi Chun. It was an indelible shock to a young boy who had just embarked on the path of martial arts upon seeing a Heavenly Saint-level entity, especially one as divine and marvelous as the true body of Heavenly Saint Dekong. Even now, having reached the Heavenly Saint Realm and seen divine beasts from the Star Continent with even more divine marvels than Heavenly Saint Dekong such as Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi, Yi Chun couldn't forget Dekong's appearance. Back then, it was the great opportunity left in the ancestral land by Heavenly Saint Dekong, the ancient god tower, that truly started Yi Chun's peerless growth. Yi Chun obviously wanted to find Heavenly Saint Dekong now. On one hand, to let the little monkey meet Heavenly Saint Dekong, and on the other, to warn Heavenly Saint Dekong of the impending cleansing tribulation in the Beiming Divine Sea. However, when Yi Chun actually traveled to the Ice Palace snowfield in the northern region, he was completely taken aback. In the Ice Palace snowfield, Yi Chun found Morong Chichi's cultivation sect, the Ice Snow Divine Palace, and met Morong Chichi once again. When Morong Chichi took Yi Chun to a vast ice field deep within the Ice Palace snowfield, claiming that this was where Dekong had last been seen, Yi Chun conducted a thorough search of the entire ice field. In the end, after Yi Chun had used his supreme power to completely search the ice field and even explored countless underground ice caves beneath it, he still failed to find any trace of Heavenly Saint Dekong. The little monkey by Yi Chun's side was also extremely anxious. Just as Yi Chun was puzzled about where Heavenly Saint Dekong could have gone to and why he had yet to come looking for the little monkey, Yi Chun came across a massive ice cave in a deep underground ice cave of this Ice Palace snowfield. This ice cave gave Yi Chun the same feeling as when he had fallen into the endless ice cave in the South Pole ice field on Earth, where he had acquired the Stars Tower and then traversed to the barbaric wilderness continent. The feeling was exactly the same. This discovery completely astonished Yi Chun. He had always wondered how he came to arrive at the barbaric wilderness continent. Now, discovering an ice cave that looked identical in the Ice Palace snowfield, of course, shocked him immensely. And when Yi Chun tried to enter this ice cave, he found that the entire cave emanated a strangely unique radiance of stars, and even with his strength now at true god level, he couldn't enter this ice cave. This ice cave, it seemed, was sealed by some unfathomable force. Finding this significant revelation while searching for Heavenly Saint Dekong made Yi Chun suddenly feel that the barbaric wilderness continent might be more complex than it appeared. Even when Yi Chun had finally called back Bing Yi, one of the 9 tribulations true gods who had rushed back from the other 33 continents, and found that even Bing Yi couldn't enter the ice cave, Yi Chun knew that this cave was undoubtedly a realm beyond true god level. Eventually, leaving with immense doubts, Yi Chun departed from this Ice Palace snowfield in the extreme north. Although Heavenly Saint Dekong was not found, Yi Chun could follow the instructions of the artifact spirit left by Heavenly Saint Dekong and entrust the little monkey to the care of the Jin D clan where Heavenly Saint Dekong resided. However, Yi Chun was not at ease letting the little monkey stay alone with the Jin D clan. Taking the little monkey into the perilous Beiming Divine Sea was something Yi Chun was even less comfortable with. In the end, Yi Chun decided that should he be taken away by the Beiming Divine Sea, he would leave the little monkey in the care of Bing Yi. Once he returned from the beaming divine sea, he would continue looking after the little monkey. When all matters were settled, Yi Chun began his true cultivation, in preparation for the imminent great catastrophe of the beaming divine sea. This cultivation was not about retreating for intensive training. Having just finished a breakthrough in his realm, he was not in the state of mind for seclusion and arduous practice. Moreover, Yi Chun wanted to make the most of his remaining time to accompany his parents. So, during the day, Yi Chun would talk with his parents and the Little Maid Tower while contemplating his cultivation, and at night, he would practice the cultivation insights he had contemplated. When they discovered Yi Chen's current strength commanded the admiration of countless martial artists on the barbaric wilderness continent, Yi Chen's parents swelled with pride for him, and the Little Maid Tower could not believe that her young master, after going to the Taishan sect and then to the legendary Heavenly Sacred Palace, had now reached the unbelievable Heavenly Saint realm. Every time she saw Yi Chun, her eyes shone with stars. Her admiration for her young master was utterly boundless. Had it not been for the shadow of the great disaster of the beaming divine sea looming over Yi Chen's parents and the Little Maid Tower's hearts, their excitement and pride would have been many times greater. The Little Maid Tower even complained to Yi Chun, blaming his excessive martial prowess for this catastrophe. If he had not cultivated to the Heavenly Saint realm, this great disaster would not even exist. Yi Chun, of course, just smiled at Tower's childish words. He understood that the catastrophe was not something one could avoid by hiding. Even if he did not go, with people like True Phoenix Mulan True God caught in it, he would not be at ease. Although he could not take Bing Yi with him this time, he had 3 heaven-reaching divine artifacts on him, as well as countless trump cards. His direct involvement was the only way to truly control many things. The most critical aspects of Yi Chen's contemplation and cultivation were threefold. One was the undying divine body and the icebound divine body. Another was the primordial chapter of the primordial star scripture. And the third was the 3 major prohibitions of the purple blood divine sword, purple light, extreme lightning, and purple lightning sword techniques. Especially for these 3 major prohibitions, Yi Chun applied the greatest effort. These 3 major prohibited sword techniques could elevate the attack power of Yi Chen's purple blood divine sword beyond that of a supreme-grade divine artifact, being the quickest means for Yi Chun to enhance his combat prowess. Hence, Yi Chun naturally studied them attentively. Peaceful times always pass quickly. When True Phoenix Mulan True God and others brought the members of the Divine Phoenix clan back from the 33 continents in succession, when Jiang Yao had spent more than a month training in the Divine Phoenix clan's time flow rate divine treasure, equivalent to nearly 2 years of real cultivation due to the tenfold time flow rate, and successfully advanced to the Heavenly Saint realm, emerging from her training. When Yi Chun had finally solidified the foundation of his icebound divine body and undying divine body, and mastered 70% of the purple light technique, the first prohibition of the purple blood divine sword, then, the massive upheaval in the beaming divine sea arrived earlier than expected. Just when Yi Chun and the ancient emperor of the Yen clan had parted for only 2 months and 10 days, the waters of the beaming divine sea in the minor spirit realm had completely drained, and the 33 layers of the undersea divine palace were now exposed. And on the barbaric wilderness continent where Yi Chun resided, the formal arrival of the great cleansing catastrophe could finally be sensed. Chapter 554- Cataclysm Little Provincial Princess. First to appear in the void above the barbaric wilderness continent was an incredibly vast oceanic mirage, and strikingly, it was the illusion of the northern dark divine sea. All the people of the barbaric wilderness continent, no matter where they were, could see this huge oceanic mirage in the void. It wasn't just the barbaric wilderness continent. The other 32 continents, even those in the upper realm's minor spirit realm, all beheld the spectacle of this oceanic mirage. All the heavenly saints and true gods felt a terrifying power descending from this oceanic mirage, slowly enveloping their whole beings. This process of being enveloped was incredibly slow, yet it was filled with an unstoppable force. This was the mighty power of nature. This was the unshakable, mysterious force of nature's creation. It's come. The great cataclysm of the northern dark divine sea has arrived. Minor Spirit Realm, Barbaric Wilderness Continent, Leaving Fire Continent, Jimong Continent, the Beast Mastery Continent. In each of the continents, the true gods and heavenly saints all began to tremble with fear. Lately, the news of the cataclysm of the great cleansing of the Northern Dark Divine Sea had spread throughout the Minor Spirit Realm and the 33 continents of the Lower Realm. Countless true gods and heavenly saints were unwilling to believe that this catastrophe would befall them. But when the initial signs of this cataclysm truly manifest, many heavenly saints and even true gods began to cry out in terror. From the messages they had heard, they knew the chances of surviving this great cleansing were incredibly slim. They had, not without difficulty, reached the heavenly saint realm, ascended to true god status, and they did not want to die. How could this not cause them immense worry and fear? Barbaric Wilderness Continent, the 13 Southern Kingdoms, Heavenly Wind Kingdom, Qingyang City. Lately, Yi Chun had been in Qingyang City accompanying his parents who had returned there. After Yi Chun returned to Qingyang City, countless heavenly saints came to visit, and even true gods from the upper realm descended to meet with Yi Chun. The entire Qingyang City with the Yi, Bai, and Qian families experienced an unprecedented buzz. The descendants of the three great families, who once found it difficult to even meet with a heavenly saint, could now encounter true gods, and even since the return of Bing Yi, had the opportunity to meet with the great true gods of the ninth symbolic passing. Of course, this filled everyone in the three great families with immense pride, but everyone knew that Yi Chun, the bringer of this immense glory to their families, would soon face a terrible cataclysm, which left them feeling proud yet immensely worried for Yi Chun. As the awe-inspiring phenomenon of the great cleansing cataclysm of the Northern Dark Divine Sea began to emerge in the sky, the descendants of the three great families, along with all the warriors who had been worried about this day's arrival, all gathered outside Yi Chen's residence. The chiefs of the Yi, Bai, and Qian families, Yi Chen's childhood companion Bai Xiaodong, Qian Yun, and disciples like Bai Xiaodai from various sects, all came to Yi Chen's side. Above the sky and across the land, powerful figures were already densely packed and standing. Bing Yi, Bing Wu, Bing Qi, the 9 great ice guard protectors, Palace Master Yuan Li, Mu Yao Palace Master, Skyscraper Palace Master, Mu Qingqing, and there were nearly 100 members of the Divine Phoenix clan, young and old, who had been brought back from across the 33 continents. In the very center, surrounded by everyone, were Yi Chun, Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God. The heavenly saint true gods present in the arena had already sensed the power of the Northern Dark Divine Sea's mirage descending upon them from the void, enveloping them, and their faces were beginning to show signs of distress. At this moment, Yi Chun knew that he didn't have much time left. He turned his gaze directly to Bing Yi in the crowd, and to the little monkey that Bing Yi was holding. Yi Chun said to Bing Yi, just as I told you before, I need you to take good care of my clan and my sect. Even if I can't return, you must train more powerful warriors. No sooner had Yi Chun finished, Bing Yi had already begun to cry. Yes, master. Bing Yi will definitely do it. At his side, Bing Wu cried out even more directly. Master, you will definitely come back. You've received the old master's inheritance. You've passed through the minor pole sky, so you will certainly emerge unscathed from the Northern Dark Divine Sea. Master, we'll be waiting for you. Although Bing Qi, unlike Bing Yi and Bing Wu who were both female spirit beasts, was not as direct in expressing emotions, his face was also filled with worry at this time. Even though Bing Qi had spent only a short time with Yi Chun, Yi Chen's performance in the main hall of the ice-ceiling divine palace had completely won him over to accept this new master. How could he not be worried about his master's ordeal? Chen E. At the side, seeing Bing Yi and Bing Wu shedding tears, Yi Chen's parents were also stricken with tears streaming down their faces. Their child was about to face such a terrible threat. How could they not be anxious and worried to the utmost? The little maidservant Tower, with tears rolling down her little face, shouted loudly, Young master, you are the strongest. You must come back soon. Tower will be waiting for you to return. Seeing the worried expressions on his parents' and Tower's faces, Yi Chen's heart was also filled with immense distress. Father, Mother, Tower? Don't worry, I will definitely come back safely, Yichun declared decisively. Finally, Yichen's gaze drifted again to the teary eyes of the crowd waving at him, towards Mu Qingqing, Murong Chichi, who had rushed in from the snow plains of the Ice Palace, towards his childhood companions Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun, and towards Bai Xiaodai, with whom he had competed in the clan contest. Facing this life-and-death unknown great cleansing catastrophe, Yichun had long left behind countless treasures and had arranged everything. Despite his concerns, he was ready to let go of everything and confront the cataclysm of the northern dark divine sea with all his might. Finally, Yichen's gaze settled on Zhang Yao. He gripped Zhang Yao's hand tightly. Life and death. They would brave it together. Boom! 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 As if to allocate time for their final farewell, the power of the North Ming divine sea wrapped around every heavenly saint true God at an incredibly slow pace. However, this slowness would eventually come to an end. Once the final wrapping was completed, Yichen, Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, Mulan True God, and all the heavenly saints and true gods from the barbaric wilderness continent, the other 32 continents, and even those from the minor spirit realm emitted a burst of unparalleled red light. Red light soared into the sky, tens of thousands of red beams shimmering across the minor spirit realm and all 33 continents. Finally, all the heavenly saints and true gods were enveloped in this unparalleled red light, and they ascended, flying at an inconceivable speed toward the direction of the North Ming Divine Sea. This red light even pushed away all other beings who were not wrapped in red light far, far away. Even Bing Yi, the Nine Tribulations true God, was completely repelled by the power of the red light. As they watched Yichen, Zhang Yao, and others take flight, the ground and sky erupted with the cries of the Yi Bai Chen tribes, the Divine Phoenix clan, Bing Yi, Bing Wu, Bing Qi, and the 9 Great Frozen Guard. It was a chorus of shouts and weeping. And the next moment, Yichen, Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, Mulan True God, and Palace Master Yuan Li completely vanished from sight. When all the heavenly saint true gods of the 33 continents of the lower realm flew towards the North Ming Divine Sea in the minor spirit realm, in the divine kingdom of Wan Mu Mountain on a higher realm, in the divine kingdom's East Province, at the palace of the Duke of the East Province, a towering figure was in a secret chamber, looking at a painting that seemed to emanate from the chamber's wall. Looking at the painting, one could see a mysterious spatial law within it, a small painting containing innumerable stars twinkling within. Among these countless stars, tens of thousands had turned a bloody red. As the towering figure observed the painting, a woman in red stood beside him. The woman in red had a spider-shaped mark on her forehead. Had Yichun seen her, he would surely have recognized her as Divine Venerable Hong Zhu, who once accompanied the little provincial princess to train in the minor pole sky. At this moment, the towering figure spoke to Divine Venerable Hong Zhu. Hong Zhu is that extraordinarily talented young man from the lower realm whom Luo'er keeps thinking about from Celestial Spirit Star? Upon hearing the towering figure's question, Divine Venerable Hong Zhu quickly replied, "Yes, Sovereign. Yichun was born on Celestial Spirit Star, a native of the barbaric wilderness continent among the 33 continents of the lower realm. Celestial Spirit Star." The towering figure nodded and pointed his finger in the air, touching one of the tens of thousands of stars that had turned bloody red in the painting before him. This time, Celestial Spirit Star has also fallen into the Great Purging Catastrophe. The Great Purging Catastrophe? Divine Venerable Hong Zhu exclaimed in surprise upon hearing these words. Has the lower realm undergone the Great Purging Catastrophe again? The towering figure nodded. The Great Purging Catastrophe is a calamity inherent to our star field since its birth. It's not just the lower realm that has it, our divine kingdom realm does too. The Great Purging Catastrophe is a natural selection by the heavens and earth, a way to maintain cosmic balance, undeniable by anyone. The catastrophe in the lower realm involves only the heavenly saints and true gods. However, the calamity in our upper realm encompasses even divine kings, divine venerables, and myself, and not even the divine country's ruler can escape this catastrophe. As he spoke, a hint of awe appeared in the eyes of the towering figure, a reverence for the cosmos and the universe. Divine Venerable Hong Zhu nodded as well. The Great Purging Catastrophe ensures that the number of powerful beings in the universe doesn't increase indefinitely, maintaining a balance by keeping their numbers within a reasonable range. Fortunately, our Wanmu Mountain Divine Kingdom just went through a major catastrophe tens of thousands of years ago. The sovereign himself turned the tide and saved the strong beings of the entire Divine Kingdom. There will not be another upper realm catastrophe happening for some time. Nevertheless, when Yi Chun left the minor pole sky, he was still at the late stage of the spinning pill realm. He shouldn't be involved in the lower realm's great catastrophe. Hearing Divine Venerable Hong Zhu's words, the towering figure shook his head. I've already divined it. Yi Chun has stepped into the heavenly saint realm, and thus his entanglement in this calamity is inevitable. Whether he can escape this disaster and survive the cosmic balance, we cannot know. Yi Chun has advanced into the heavenly saint realm? Divine Venerable Hong Zhu was taken aback. Realizing something, she spoke up. No wonder the sovereign forbids Luor from going to Celestial Spirit Star for the time being. It turns out he has foreseen Yi Chun's fall into this great calamity. The towering figure nodded. That Yi Chun, with his remarkable display in the minor pole sky, has indeed caught my attention. However, the great calamity of the cosmos is irreversible. Whether he can overcome this trial will serve as my test for him. Should he fail, his soul will be scattered, permanently lost to the universe, making a visit futile and only causing sorrow. Yet, if he survives, it will prove once more his vitality's tenacity. At that time, I will take Luor to see him. Divine Venerable Hong Zhu nodded at his side, emitting a sigh. At the Duke of the East Province's palace, next to a vast divine pond, the little provincial princess in white Luor was seated earnestly in meditation. Only after she finished meditating did she open her eyes. Father said that I must master the circulation of heaven divine art within a year before he agrees to take me to Celestial Spirit Star to see Yi Chun. The little provincial princess said softly, watching the divine water flowing in the divine pond. Humph. I will surely complete it within a year, and Father will lose his bet. I wonder how Yi Chun is doing. I've only mastered the second of the 9 scrolls of the formation art from the Venerable Tian Yun of the minor pole sky. I don't know if Yi Chun has reached the 3rd scroll yet. After murmuring to herself, she rested for a while, then resumed her focused training. Chapter 555- Undersea Divine Palace. Yi Chun certainly didn't know that within the divine kingdoms of the higher planes, some great beings were already aware of the impending massive cleansing catastrophe set to befall the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents. Even less could Yi Chun imagine that this figure, one whom even Divine Venerable Hong Zhu treated with utmost reverence, was silently watching him, awaiting the outcome of the massive cleansing catastrophe. Wrapped in the surging red light that the power of the northern dark ocean had stirred, Yi Chun, Jiang Yao, True Phoenix, Mulan True God, Palace Master Yuan Li, and others had disappeared from the territory of the barbaric wilderness continent one moment, and in the next, they had abruptly arrived above an unimaginably vast crater. No, it wasn't a crater, but the northern dark ocean after the waters had receded. For Yi Chun, Jiang Yao, and everyone else saw below them a sprawling expanse of enormous palace complexes descending layer upon layer. Even though Yi Chun's divine sense could now cover hundreds of miles, he couldn't entirely take in these palaces, only sensing that some levels of palaces at the deepest part dipped into a region of darkness impenetrable to divine sense. Even without being able to completely survey the layers of palaces within the divine sea, Yi Chun understood that these were undoubtedly the 33 levels of the undersea divine palace, revealed after the waters of the northern dark ocean had receded, as mentioned by the ancient emperor of the Yen clan. It was the very undersea divine palace where all heavenly saints and true gods would undergo the great cleansing catastrophe. Whoosh! 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 As Yi Chun, Jiang Yao, and the others were observing the endless, descending layers of the enormous undersea divine palace, the entire palace complex emitted an incomparable crimson radiance. With a sweep of the light, Yi Chun, Jiang Yao, and the others were directly drawn into the first level of the undersea divine palace. After a slight dizziness, when Yi Chun's consciousness cleared, He found himself within an immensely large palace. This immense palace, with its ceiling above, was carved with countless strange figures of mythical creatures, humans, spiritual insects, dark demons, and even some bizarre creatures that Yi Chun couldn't even guess the species of. Jiang Yao, True Phoenix, Mulan, True God, Palace Master Yuan Li, and other heavenly saints, true gods, who were taken from Qingyang town alongside Yi Chun, were now by his side. Yi Chun also saw that countless individuals had already appeared in the vast palace, and amid the fluctuations of illusory shadows, more and more figures continued to materialize. All of these arriving figures were unmistakably from the heavenly saint realm and the true God realm. In just an instant, the vast hall was filled with hundreds of thousands of figures. Among these hundreds of thousands, there were 7,000 to 8,000 true gods alone. Clearly, these figures were the countless powerhouses from the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents brought here by the cleansing catastrophe of the northern dark ocean. Such an assembly of powerhouses, especially with 7,000 to 8,000 true gods gathered in one place, was an event that the entire minor spirit realm had not seen for tens of thousands of years. But at this moment, no one felt the slightest excitement. All faces were horror-stricken, and even the true gods were no exception. For everyone knew that they were now caught in the midst of the great cleansing catastrophe. Their prospects for life and death were unpredictable. Is this really the first level of the undersea divine palace of the northern dark ocean? Heavens! We've actually been brought here, truly drawn into the great cleansing catastrophe. Many of the heavenly saint true gods cried out in alarm upon appearing in this hall. Others, however, remained silent with grave expressions, their eyes frantically scanning around, evidently contemplating strategies in their minds. These heavenly saint true gods clustered together in groups, and from the distribution of these clusters, it was evident that their positions differed based on the different realms from which they had been brought. One could distinctly feel that there were several groups where the concentration of powerhouses was the greatest. These were the groups of the 5 great ancient clans within the minor spirit realm that remained after the divine phoenix clan was overrun. The 5 great ancient clans were the Yen clan, Vermilion Bird clan, Flying Spirit clan, Beiming clan, and Blood God clan. Each group was crowded with 700 to 800, or even more than 1,000 true gods, and tens of thousands from the heavenly saint realm. Had the great hall not been large enough, it could not possibly have contained so many powerful beings. Besides the 5 great ancient clans, the other circles with strong auras converging together belonged to the countless forces of the minor spirit realm. Although these countless forces could not rival the 5 great ancient clans with an incredible number of true gods and heavenly saints, they were still numerous in power and also had true gods among them, presenting a similarly formidable aura. In comparison, the martial artists from the 33 continents of the lower realm seemed much weaker in strength. All the martial artists present were from the heavenly saint realm and the true God realm. Despite the large number of powerful individuals scattered across the vast hall, their divine senses were sharp enough to clearly discern each circle. Many people from the same realm gathered together, while at the same time, everyone was observing each other. Yi Chun, holding Jiang Yao's hand, stood together with True Phoenix, Mulan True God, Palace Master Yuan Li, Palace Master Mu Yao, and many others from the barbaric wilderness continent, surrounded by countless heavenly saints. With a sweep of Yi Chen's divine sense, he immediately saw the circles of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan in the Grand Hall. The martial artists from the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan were all gathered together. As Yi Chen's divine sense reached out, the 9 tribulation true gods, the old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan, seemed to sense something and turned their divine gazes sharply towards him. Boom! Seeing one's enemy brought a surge of resentment. If it were not for the current grave crisis where everyone's lives were at stake, and everyone needed to work together to search for the sea god's eye to save their lives, the old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans might have even launched an attack to kill Yi Chun on the spot. Even when it was inconvenient to take action, these 2 old clan leaders, upon setting their divine gazes upon Yi Chun, directly sent him a telepathic message. Humph, Yi Chun, you brat. Looks like your 9 tribulation true god ally can't make it to the undersea divine palace this time. Can they? Without a nine tribulation true God's assistance, let's see how you withstand our killing blow. Don't think that we will let you go. Killing you won't affect our search for the divine sea's eye and the eye of fortune. When the opportunity arises, be ready to die. The old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird Clan and Flying Spirit Clan did not hide their murderous intent towards Yi-chan in their telepathic messages. Especially the old clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan. Hundreds of true gods from his clan had fallen at the hands of Bing Yi under Yi-chan's command, and his beloved son, the young clan leader of the Flying Spirit Clan, had met his demise. The enormous loss had greatly weakened his clan. How could he possibly let go of Yi-chan? If it were not for the presence of the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, he might have been unable to restrain himself from attacking Yi-chan right then. The actions of the old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird Clan and Flying Spirit Clan had long been under the watchful eye of many. Enjoy new chapters from Novel.com. As they saw the gaze of both old clan leaders turn toward Yi-chan, many in the hall looked at him, wondering why this young man in the early stages of the Heavenly Saint realm had caught the special attention of both old clan leaders. They were unaware of the murderous intent hidden deep in the eyes of the two clan leaders, and the overt murderous intent in their messages to Yi-chan. Chapter 556-Death Bloodlight and the Mysterious Ice Cave. Being stared down by the elders of both the Vermilion Bird Clan and Flying Spirit Clan, and simultaneously receiving threats from them through telepathic messaging, Yi-chan directed his gaze at the two clan elders, his eyes also becoming piercingly cold. During the time in which he prepared to face the calamity of the Great Purge, Yi-chan had received many ancient records from the Yen clan's ancient emperor regarding the Northern Dark Sea's Great Purge calamity sent from the upper world. These ancient records included summaries derived from past calamities, detailing various issues that must be kept in mind when attempting to navigate through the 33 levels of the Undersea Divine Palace. One of these items stated that the Great Purge calamity is a major cleanup and elimination trial for all the Heavenly Saint true gods from the Minor Spirit Realm and the 33 continents. Therefore, after entering the Undersea Divine Palace, all Heavenly Saint true gods would encounter countless life and death crises and killings within the 33 levels, and obtaining the Eye of Creation and the Eye of the Sea God was definitely not going to be easy. However, the real threat of death was not limited to dangers within the Undersea Divine Palace. There was also the threat of other warriors seeking to kill one another. The Great Purge calamity was inherently a process of elimination for the strong, so of course there were no prohibitions against mutual slaughter. Still, with countless Heavenly Saint true gods drawn in, if true gods were to truly commence slaughtering the Heavenly Saints, it's likely none of the Heavenly Saints would survive long enough to see the next moment in the Undersea Divine Palace. Hence, these Undersea Divine Palace rules also gave countless weaker individuals a chance to take on the challenge and seek opportunities to escape the threat of death. On one hand, the Eye of the Divine Sea was extremely difficult to find. The more people alive meant greater strength in numbers, and hence a larger chance of finding the Eye of the Divine Sea. This rule effectively meant that true gods would basically not attack Heavenly Saints. However, when there were grudges between individuals, many would not consider the increased opportunity to find the Eye of the Divine Sea, and would still opt to kill their adversaries. Thus, a second rule of the Undersea Divine Palace was that warriors who entered could kill each other, but those of higher realms who killed someone of a lower realm would incur severe punishment. For every warrior that a higher realm person killed beneath their own level, a death bloodlight would appear on their body. This death bloodlight would provoke the threats of death within the Undersea Divine Palace even more. The more one was stained with death bloodlight, the higher the probability they would encounter the Undersea Divine Palace's threats of death, and correspondingly, the higher the probability of being killed by the palace's threats of death. All individuals, even 9 tribulations true gods, dared not claim they could handle the threats of death from the Undersea Divine Palace. Naturally, they would not rashly kill other warriors and risk being marked by the death bloodlight. Just one death bloodlight could potentially expose them to a fatal threat from the Undersea Divine Palace. Who would dare to take that risk lightly? This rule allowed warriors of the same realm to eliminate each other but greatly prevented the slaughter of lower realm warriors by those of higher realms. Upon learning this rule, Yi-chan knew that the true gods from the Vermilion Bird Clan and Flying Spirit Clan, as well as the two old clan elders, would definitely not dare to easily kill those heavenly saint true gods of the divine Phoenix clan who were brought back from the other 32 continents, nor the heavenly saints of the barbaric wilderness continent after being transferred into the undersea divine palace, lest they become tainted with the death bloodlight. But Yi Chun would not underestimate the madness of the two elders from the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans. Discover more stories at novelbin.com. They might not dare to kill others, but Yi Chun, Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God shared a blood feud with them, and even a death feud with the elder of the Flying Spirit clan. Yi Chun had no doubt that the Flying Spirit clan elder would risk being marked with one or two death bloodlights, and still make a move against them. Moreover, Yi Chun was aware that the treasures he possessed had long attracted the coveting of the two old clan elders. It was highly probable that they, willing to bear the mark of a death bloodlight, would prefer to kill him in order to seize his treasures. After all, although the death bloodlight might expose them to more danger in the undersea divine palace, treasures could also help them fend off danger. Weighing the options, there's a very likely chance they would make their move. Knowing that the other divine Phoenix clan members and the heavenly saints from the barbaric wilderness continent would not attract fatal danger, Yi Chun felt quite relieved. As for the possible dangers that he, Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God might encounter, Yi Chun had already discussed countermeasures with Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God before being taken to the Northern Dark Sea. In Yi Chun's hands was a heaven-reaching divine artifact flying vessel, and he feared no attack by the 9 tribulations true gods. Zhang Yao also possessed the Ice Snow Divine Sword, a heaven-reaching divine artifact given to her specifically by Bing Yi. Moreover, she had top-grade divine treasures that would absolutely give her the assurance to escape even when threatened by 9 tribulations true gods. True Phoenix and Mulan True God, after retrieving countless clan members, also specifically found several powerful treasures of the divine Phoenix clan, as well as a few given by the ancient emperor of the Yen clan. Additionally, Bing Yi, Bing Wu, and Bing Qi provided them with various protective Dharma treasures. With these, the two were also confident in facing any threats from the Vermilion Bird clan and Flying Spirit clan. If the 9 tribulations true God elder clan leaders from the Vermilion Bird clan and Flying Spirit clan were fearful of the death bloodlight and chose not to act, that was one thing. But should they make a move, Yi Chun, Zhang Yao, True Phoenix, and Mulan True God were not afraid. In the undersea divine palace, where life and death were unpredictable and the threat of death was omnipresent, it was truly uncertain who would kill whom. Yi Chun, who was already prepared in his heart, heard the threatening voice transmissions from the 2 old clan leaders of the Vermilion Bird and Flying Spirit clans, and of course, he was not intimidated. His eyes cold, deep within he thought that if they dared to kill him, he would definitely not let them off easily. Chapter 557. While prepared for the threats posed by the Vermilion Bird clan and the Flying Spirit clan, Yi Chun was most perturbed not by the dangers these 9 tribulations true gods presented, but by his 2 great doubts. The first grave doubt stemmed from Yi Chun thoroughly scanning every heavenly saint true god in the Grand Hall with his divine sense, only to find that heavenly Saint Dekong was nowhere to be seen. According to the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, all the heavenly saint true gods from the 33 continents and the minor spirit realm were inescapable from this grand purge, certain to be drawn into the undersea divine palace. However, at this moment, heavenly Saint Dekong was absent, much to Yi Chun's astonishment. Yi Chun immediately recalled the mysterious ice cave he had discovered in the Ice Palace snowfield of the northern region, the very location where heavenly Saint Dekong had vanished. That mysterious ice cave gave Yi Chun a feeling of profound connection, even to the fortunate encounter he had had with the Tower of the Stars, an enigma beyond his and Bing Yi's comprehension. Yi Chun had always felt that great secrets lay hidden within the mysterious ice cave, and now that heavenly Saint Dekong was missing, he even suspected that it was due to this cave that Dekong had managed to resist the grand purge of the divine Sea of Biming. It seemed likely that the mysterious ice cave held a presence even more enigmatic than the divine Sea of Biming, possessing a powerful mystery force that could transcend the suction power of the divine sea. Yi Chun had fallen into such a strikingly similar mysterious ice cave, where he had obtained the Tower of the Stars and the primordial star scripture, leading him to the barbaric wilderness continent. The primordial star scripture was, without a doubt, a supreme divine art that surpassed the divine venerable level. Naturally, Yi Chun would conjecture the tremendous power of such a cave. Yi Chen's second major quandary was that he had not seen any of the abducted Divine Phoenix clan members, who were taken by the Black Crow God King, nor the 5 senior 9 tribulations true gods of the clan who had gone missing in the Great Hall either. According to the ancient emperor of the Yen clan, even if they had left the celestial spirit star, every heavenly saint true god who had transformed within the minor spirit realm and the 33 continents would be inevitably drawn back by the boundless power of the divine sea of Biming. At the time, Yi Chun thought that those heavenly saint true gods of the Divine Phoenix clan, taken by the Black Crow God King, along with the 5 senior 9 tribulations true gods, would appear in the Undersea Divine Palace given this rule. Yet, Yi Chun had an inkling they would not return so easily. And at this moment, he truly did not find them. Continue your adventure with Novelbin. Calm. Only heavenly saint true gods would be taken for the Grand Purge. Had the 5 senior 9 tribulations true gods advanced into the Divine King realm, and was that why they hadn't been taken? If they had truly broken through to the Divine King realm, why hadn't they returned to the minor spirit realm, to the Divine Phoenix clan? Or had they perished? Yi Chun had no clue whatsoever. As for the members of the Divine Phoenix clan taken by the Black Crow God King, their chances of breaking through to the Divine King realm were nearly non-existent. This only intensified Yi Chen's suspicion that perhaps there was a force exceeding that of the divine sea of Biming, which had prevented the heavenly saint true gods of the Divine Phoenix clan from being taken back. Could it be the power of the same mysterious ice cave that had made heavenly Saint Dekong disappear? Yi Chun shared his speculations with Zhang Yao through a sound transmission, and both were utterly perplexed. Although the members of the Divine Phoenix clan were not teleported back, sparing them from the threat of the Great Purge, Yi Chun and Zhang Yao became increasingly worried about them. What Yi Chun and Zhang Yao didn't know was that their speculation about the members of the Divine Phoenix clan who were taken away by the Black Crow God King and not brought back was actually very close to the truth. When the Great Purge catastrophe descended, the boundless power of the Biming Divine Sea even swept out of the boundaries of the celestial spirit star, rolling towards a vastly distant star continent. However, when this force came into contact with a mysterious ice cave within this star continent, it was directly blocked. At this moment, looking deeper into the mysterious ice cave, one could see the Black Crow God King, who had taken away the members of the Divine Phoenix clan, laughing maniacally at the 365 divine beads that had reached the level of heaven-reaching divine artifacts, and there were even 3 that had achieved the level of mysterious heavenly divine artifacts. I've struck it rich. I've struck it rich. I never expected that by accidentally entering this star continent, I would encounter such an astonishing stroke of fortune. If Yi Chun were aware of the situation the Black Crow God King had stumbled upon, he would have been shocked. That mysterious ice cave could actually block the limitless power of the Biming Divine Sea. In that mysterious ice cave were numerous treasures. Although they were not as marvelous as his own primordial star scripture and star's tower, Yi Chun would definitely have wondered why there were treasures in this strange ice cave, and why each treasure was unique. Could it be that there was some connection inside? Of course, at this moment Yi Chun had no knowledge of everything occurring in the realm where the Black Crow God King was, and he kept his vague guesses about the mysterious ice cave to himself. Because, after everyone was teleported to the Undersea Divine Palace within the Biming Divine Sea, as everyone was either sizing up others or preparing their next move, numerous jade slips suddenly fell down into the first floor of the palace. These jade slips landed in the hands of every martial artist in the grand hall of the first floor. The jade slips clearly stated the rules for the Great Purge calamity of the Undersea Divine Palace in the Biming Divine Sea. The ancient emperor of the Yen clan had previously mentioned the task of finding the Eye of Creation and the Eye of the Sea God to escape the calamity. There was a time limit of 1 year to search for treasures across the 33 floors of the Undersea Divine Palace, and the rule that killing martial artists of lower realms would stain one with death bloodlight was clearly included. The jade slips also explained that the deeper one went into the 33 floors of the Undersea Divine Palace, the more dangerous it became, the threats of death increased, and correspondingly, the probability of the Eye of Creation and the Eye of the Divine Sea appearing also increased. If one were to die from these threats, it would mean true death. If one does not dare to venture further down and hasn't found the Eye of Creation, they could hide in a safe place and wait for the 1-year period of the Great Purge calamity to end. At that time, if someone finds the Eye of the Divine Sea, those who have hidden away may survive, but if no one finds the Eye of the Divine Sea, then those in hiding will still face death. Moreover, hiding won't guarantee absolute safety. There will be numerous rogue demons of the Undersea Divine Palace targeting martial artists, hidden throughout the various realms. One must choose whether to take control of their own fate, risking death to search for the Eye of Creation and the Eye of the Divine Sea, or leave their fate in others' hands and hide away waiting for the final outcome. The choice is entirely up to the individual. When the jade slip containing the rules of the Great Purge calamity of the Undersea Divine Palace fell into each martial artist's hands, an endless blood-red light emerged from the first floor of the palace. From within the blood-red light, all martial artists, even those standing together, those who flew into the same treasure space together, and even those like Yi Chun and Jiang Yao who were holding hands, were completely scattered and teleported to the second floor of the Undersea Divine Palace in the Beiming Divine Sea. The real threat of death and the real search for the Eye of Creation and the Eye of the Divine Sea had begun. Chapter 558-. The second layer of the Undersea Divine Palace. Yi Chun barely managed to hear a transmission from the ancient emperor of the Yen clan in his mind, reminding him to be cautious of everything. Heard Jiang Yao's soft cry, and then felt her tender hand he was holding torn away by a mysterious blood-red light. Next thing he knew, amidst dizziness and disorientation, Yi Chun found himself in a completely new world. I've arrived at the second level of the Undersea Divine Palace. Yi Chun looked at the jade slip in his hand, which contained the rules of the Undersea Divine Palace, and saw the symbol for the second out of the 33 levels light up. According to the jade slip, starting from the second level of the Undersea Divine Palace, the space of each level is as vast as one of the 33 continents of the lower realm, with lengths and widths exceeding hundreds of thousands of miles. Just by flying, it would take quite a lot of time to traverse these places. If I were to meticulously search these realms for the Eye of Creation and the Eye of the Sea God, it would take even longer. Moreover, the jade slip also states that each level of the Undersea Divine Palace contains countless folded spaces. Different people may fall into different folded spaces, and it is not possible for warriors in different spaces to encounter each other unless they pass through their respective spatial exits and enter the next level of the Undersea Divine Palace. I don't know if Jiang Yao is in the same folded space as I am, or how many other people are in this folded space. While Yi Chun was contemplating, he tucked the jade slip of the Undersea Divine Palace rules into his chest. This jade slip had another special function. It would give a specific alert if a warrior entered the same folded space within a 300 miles radius. Yi Chun planned to search the area while looking for other warriors to see if he could encounter Jiang Yao or True God Muronglan and the others. Once he stored the jade slip away, Yi Chun looked up and observed the second level of the Undersea Divine Palace. Roar! Roar! The land was filled with fierce winds, like the howling of beasts, and everything was shrouded in a gray haze. Yi Chun touched the Ice Treasure Divine Ring on his thumb, and with a flick of his sleeve, he turned into a streak of light, flying forward. The Ice Treasure Divine Ring was an auxiliary artifact that Yi Chun acquired from True God Bing Ao of the Ice Wing Tribe in the Minor Pole Sky. This artifact, crafted by a powerful 9 Tribulations True God of the Ice Wing Tribe, possessed 3 extraordinary effects: treasure-seeking, space, and concealment. Yi Chun wore this ring primarily for its treasure-seeking ability. Although it wasn't certain that he could find the exceedingly precious Eye of Creation and Eye of the Divine Sea with it, Yi Chun of course wanted to try. Apart from the Ice Treasure Divine Ring, Yi Chun also extended the defensive Divine Robe, the Purple Mist True Garment, to a radius of 10 zhang around his body, guarding carefully against everything. At the same time, Yi Chun took out the heaven-reaching Divine Artifact Flying Boat and the Purple Blood Divine Sword, keeping them ready in his hands. The Undersea Divine Palace was full of deadly threats, and Yi Chun was of course proceeding with caution. Yi Chun flew while carefully sending out his divine sense to probe the entire piece of land below him. Although the chances of the Eye of Creation and Eye of the Divine Sea appearing on the second level, were extremely low, Yi Chun was not about to relax his search. He hadn't flown for long when sharp, piercing screeches echoed from the ground. In an instant, 5 beams of black light shot towards Yi Chun at an inconceivable speed. Yi Chun instantly felt the tremendous force of the 5 attacks, all of which possessed the combat power of the late stage of the Heavenly Saint realm, bombard his body. The 5 beams of black light were incredibly fast and possessed immense power. However, Yi Chun didn't take attacks of this caliber seriously at all. When the 5 beams of black light were about to strike Yi Chun, he didn't even need to use the purple blood divine sword. Instead, he just pointed his finger precisely in the air, and with 5 puffed, 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 puffed sounds, he repelled the black lights, making them tumble backward before dissipating to reveal the creatures within. These were 5 half-meter tall, mink-like mystical creatures with strange black armor on their bodies. Yi Chun had not expected these incredibly fast and powerful black armored beasts to have such strong defenses. Although Yi Chun had only used a pointing motion, the lethal force he unleashed was certainly enough to penetrate the bodies of top-tier mystical creatures at the late stage of the Heavenly Saint realm. It was unexpected that these 5 black armored beasts could withstand it. What surprised Yi Chun even more was that after being struck and sent flying backward, revealing their true forms, these 5 black armored beasts actually spoke human language, saying, "So powerful, this human, our tribe of black armored beasts cannot withstand him. Run! Quick, run!" After a few shouts, the 5 black armored beasts turned back into beams of black light and sped away, disappearing without a trace in an instant. Black armored beasts? Creatures that can speak the human language? Watching the fleeing creatures, Yi Chun had no intention of continuing the pursuit to finish them off. He kept flying forward. According to the Jade Slip of the Undersea Divine Palace rules, every level of the palace was home to 2 murderous lifeform tribes. Having encountered the black armored beast tribe, Yi Chun wondered what the second murderous lifeform tribe would be. To Yi Chun's surprise, after flying for most of an hour and searching hundreds of miles without encountering the second murderous lifeform tribe, he had to become even more cautious. As Yi Chun flew into a depression in the terrain, a series of light beeping sounds, dozens in all, suddenly came from the jade slip in his chest. Are there other warriors ahead? Listening to that sound, there are quite a few martial artists gathered. Whoosh! Sensing the presence of other martial artists nearby as indicated by the jade slip, Yi Chun's speed instantly increased, and he flew toward the valley ahead. Before long, Yi Chun saw dozens of figures gathering on a flat land ahead. Another fellow Taoist has arrived. As Yi Chun flew toward those dozens of figures, they also noticed him. However, when they saw that the aura on Yi Chun's body was only at the early stage of the Heavenly Saint realm, their faces showed disappointment. They had suddenly arrived in the perilous Undersea Divine Palace and were constantly on edge. Naturally, they preferred to be with stronger martial artists. That way, their venture through the Undersea Divine Palace would be much safer. Continue reading on novel.com. The lowest realm to be drawn to the Undersea Divine Palace was the early stage of the Heavenly Saint, so seeing that Yi Chun was of the lowest realm amongst them, they were understandably disappointed. Yi Chun, on the other hand, didn't pay attention to their expressions. He noticed that he had never seen any of these dozens of faces before. It seemed that these people had not noticed Yi Chun either. Yi Chun also noticed that among these dozens of figures, there were 2 who were heaven-reaching divine artifact-level powerhouses. The rest were at the Heavenly Saint realm. At that moment, everyone was gathered around the 2 first tribulation powerhouses. Whoosh! When Yi Chun landed in front of the group, most people were worried about their safety. Seeing Yi Chun's low realm, they cared even less about him. However, an older man in the late phase of the Heavenly Saint realm approached Yi Chun and said with a smile, "Fellow Taoist, do you come from our minor spirit realm? Or from which continent in the lower realm?" "I come from the barbaric wilderness continent," Yi Chun responded with a smile. The barbaric wilderness continent? Hearing that Yi Chun was from one of the 33 continents of the lower realm, many martial artists in the crowd sighed. The barbaric wilderness continent was one of the 33 continents of the lower realm, certainly not as strong or well-founded as the sects of the minor spirit realm. Many in the crowd were disciples of small sects from the minor spirit realm. Although they did not come from the 5 ancient clans, they obviously did not think highly of martial artists from the 33 continents. Nevertheless, the older heavenly saint who had spoken to Yi Chun did not despise him and said with a laugh, "There are countless dangers in this undersea divine palace. On our way here, we encountered several waves of black armored beasts ambushing us, and we even witnessed some fellow Taoists die at their hands. Since you have encountered us, let's explore the second layer of the undersea divine palace together." Yi Chun smiled and nodded his head, not refusing. The undersea divine palace was fraught with life and death crises. It was indeed better to move in larger groups for increased safety. The elder, who clearly had strong interpersonal skills, began introducing the other martial artists to Yi Chun as he pulled Yi Chun into the crowd. The 2 first tribulation powerhouses were named Liao Hua True God and Du Ling True God, each from small sects in the northern region of the minor spirit realm. In the minor spirit realm, small sects did not have powerhouses beyond the 3 tribulations level. Only those with powerhouses above the 3 tribulations could be considered large sects. And among the large sects, only those with 5th tribulation level powerhouses could be considered major forces. Of course, existences like the ancient 5 clans were something that countless heavenly saints and true gods in the minor spirit realm looked up to. Besides Liao Hua True God and Du Ling True God, more than 20 of the heavenly saints came from small sects in the minor spirit realm, while over a dozen others, like Yi Chun, also came from one of the 33 continents of the lower realm. All right, let's move on. When Yi Chun arrived, the group, led by Liao Hua True God and Du Ling True God, was resting. After the 2 true gods finished resting and were ready to move on, everyone stood up, preparing to continue their journey together. Whoosh! 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 The 2 true gods led the way, flying in front, followed by the heavenly saints behind. While continuing to fly, Yi Chun and the others encountered another dozen or so martial artists, who all joined the group, venturing together through the second layer of the undersea divine palace. Meanwhile, Yi Chun and his companions also encountered dozens of ambushes by black armored beasts, including 2 that were at the 1st tribulation true god level. Liao Hua True God and Du Ling True God were decisive. They not only killed the 2 first tribulation level black armored beasts, but also eliminated any late-stage heavenly saint-level beasts, ensuring the group's safe passage. This made the many heavenly saints praise Liao Hua True God and Du Ling True God without end. Liao Hua True God and Du Ling True God seemed quite pleased with the praise, smiling as they conversed with the heavenly saints flying behind them. This process of flying, killing, and treasure hunting continued for half an hour until, just as Liao Hua True God and Du Ling True God had jointly slain another first tribulation level black armored beast and were enjoying the praises of many heavenly saints, Yi Chun's expression suddenly tightened as he blurted out, "Be careful!" No sooner had Yi Chun spoken than Liao Hua True God, who had been smiling at the front, turned pitch black and plummeted from the sky to the ground, ending his life instantly. Chapter 559- Black-Boned Bug. Liao Hua True God's sudden fall to death completely terrified everyone, to the point their souls nearly left their bodies. Aside from Yi Chun, who was still cautiously watching over the deceased Liao Hua True God with furrowed brows, reminding everyone to be careful, the rest of the people were simply scared into flying chaotically in all directions, especially the other first tribulation true god, Du Ling, who was closest to Liao Hua True God. His heart was scared to the point it almost leapt out. Although both he and Liao Hua True God were first tribulation true gods, Liao Hua True God was a bit stronger than him. And now, Liao Hua True God had died right in front of him. This, of course, made Du Ling True God feel that he had narrowly escaped a similar untimely death. Very likely, it was only by extreme luck that he had evaded a massacre. What in the world is going on? Du Ling True God, who had frantically flown to the side, roared out loud, his voice trembling excessively. Liao Hua True God is dead. Heavens, he was a first tribulation true god. Without any sign of aberration, he just died suddenly. What is it that killed Liao Hua True God? The other martial artists who were frightened into flying randomly stopped after a short distance upon facing the vast expanse of the second layer of the undersea divine palace, even more terrified, and not daring to fly on their own anymore. They stopped at a distance, looking towards the corpse of Liao Hua, true god, and began to speak out in panic. The previous killings by the black armored beasts, they could see how the black armored beasts killed the martial artists, but now even Liao Hua, true god, the strongest in the field, had suddenly perished. And since nobody could see how he was killed, it naturally left everyone utterly frightened. Just as they focused their attention on Liao Hua, true god, and while Yi Chen's brows were furrowed as he looked at the corpse of Liao Hua, true god, an alarming crackle noise suddenly came from the pitch-black face of Liao Hua, true god, specifically from his forehead. There was something in the skull of the dead Liao Hua, true god. Just as this thought crossed everyone's mind, Liao Hua, true god's forehead was abruptly cracked open by the crackle noise, and a monstrosity, as thin as a finger, resembling a tiny black snake with a pair of transparent wings attached to its body, crawled out from the hole in Liao Hua, true god's forehead. Everyone knew that it was probably this strange monster bug that had killed Liao Hua, true god. A thought flashed through Yi Chen's mind. This monster bug was likely the second kind of murderous creature group that he had been on guard against in the second layer of the undersea divine palace. Aside from the black armored beast murdering group, this was the second, even more threatening monster bug to all who entered the undersea divine palace. As this thought passed through Yi Chen's mind, the finger-length monster bug that had crawled out of Liao Hua, true god's forehead, stuck out its tongue to lick its lips, emitting an incredibly shrill sound. The life aura of a heavenly saint tastes truly delicious, perfectly suits the palate of my black-boned bug clan. Having said that, the finger-length monster bug then turned its eerie eyes towards Yi Chen and the rest of the people, finally resting its gaze upon Du Ling, true god. I haven't had enough to eat yet. Pity that there's only one heavenly saint left here. I'll consume this heavenly saint first, then exterminate the other intruders. Whoosh! As the finger-length monster bug spoke, its transparent wings instantly wrapped around its whole body, and it disappeared from sight in an instant. Then, a whirlwind arose, heading towards Du Ling, true god, at an unbelievable speed. Hearing this talking finger-length monster bug saying it would eat him first, Du Ling, true god, was already scared to the point of turning pale. How could he not realize that Liao Hua, true god, who was stronger than him, had died at the hands of this monster bug, even as a heavenly saint, and even though his body was vastly larger than the finger-length monster bug, faced with this unpredictable creature, Du Ling, true god, was so frightened he had no will to fight left. The instant the monster bug vanished, Du Ling, true god's figure rolled up, trying to disappear into the far distance, into the beyond. But his speed was not as fast as that of the disappearing monster bug. The very moment Du Ling, true god, tried to use his heavenly saint techniques to escape, he felt his entire body enveloped by an unknown force, leaving him unable to move. At the same time, he felt a gust of wind coming towards him, and the boundless deadly force was already piercing through his body in an instant. Am I about to die? Just like Liao Hua, true god?
No.
Just as the thought flashed through true god Du Ling's mind, he was so terrified that he let out a scream, even closing his eyes out of fear. But suddenly he felt that the lethal force shooting towards him disappeared instantly. What's going on? The moment true god Du Ling opened his eyes, expecting death, he saw a hand, which had directly grabbed the fierce monster wind that was scraping towards him, and had caught it entirely in its grip. True god Du Ling looked towards the owner of the hand, his mouth hanging open in complete disbelief. The person who had intervened was none other than the young Yi Chen from the early heavenly saint realm, whom he had looked down upon and hadn't even spoken a word to before. Not only was true god Du Ling utterly shocked, but the other heavenly saints around him also stared in disbelief at the scene unfolding before their eyes. They saw the moment the strange monster bug disappeared, followed by true god Du Ling's startled cries, and finally, they saw Yi Chen, who had been frowning and observing from the side, striking out like lightning. When Yi Chen actually made a move, it gave all the heavenly saints the impression that the strength this young man from the early heavenly saint realm had suddenly unleashed was even more formidable than that of first tribulation gods like Liao Hua True God and True God Du Ling. Remembering the "be careful" that Yi Chun had shouted before Liao Hua True God was instantaneously killed, all the heavenly saints realized in a flash that this young man called Yi Chun was no ordinary heavenly saint. He most likely had noticed the weird assassination attempt by the monster bug even before. Squeak, squeak. Let me go. Don't crush me. Let me go quickly. As True God Du Ling and all the other heavenly saints looked towards Yi Chun, they heard a shrill scream coming from Yi Chun's palm. This scream was unmistakably the voice of the strange monster bug that had disappeared earlier. Yi Chun, who had intervened, had indeed caught the strange monster bug and even made it beg for mercy. This young man truly had an incredible method to subdue the terrifying monster bug. Unbelievable. Shocking. Overjoyed. Regretful. Worried. Countless emotions surged into the hearts of the heavenly saints present at the scene. They found it hard to believe that a monster bug capable of killing True God Liao Hua was now begging for mercy from this young man from the early heavenly saint realm. Stay tuned with Novelbin. Calm. They were shocked that a young heavenly saint at the beginning stage possessed such unbelievable strength. Their joy stemmed from the realization that such a powerful expert was hidden among them, which gave them a greater chance of survival when faced with countless deadly threats. Their regret was that they had been too distant from this young heavenly saint from the beginning, failing to establish a good relationship with such a strong expert in advance. They were worried that this expert might not bother with them, which would mean they were missing a truly powerful support, apparently even more formidable than True Gods Liao Hua and Du Ling. While these countless emotions were swirling through the heavenly saints, the late-stage martial artist who had previously spoken to Yi Chun and had gone to meet him was also wearing an expression of disbelief at Yi Chun's strength. But Yi Chun simply pinched with both hands, squeezing the caught strange monster bug between his fingers. The black, snake-like monster bug, which resembled a long finger, once again revealed itself. Seeing that Yi Chun was no longer holding it in his palm but was instead pinching it with 2 fingers, the monster bug sensed an opportunity to escape and frantically struggled within the confines of Yi Chun's fingers. However, no matter how much it squirmed, it couldn't break free from the bond of Yi Chun's 2 fingers. When Yi Chun said in an indifferent voice, "If you struggle again, I'll kill you right now," the evidently intelligent monster bug instantly stopped struggling, not daring to make the slightest move. It even begged Yi Chun with a piercing voice, "Great One, spare my life. Please spare me, Great One." The image of a monster bug capable of killing a first tribulation true god, speaking in a human tongue and begging a young heavenly saint for mercy, left True God Du Ling and the other heavenly saints with their mouths agape. Chapter 560 The Exile. At this moment, Yi Chun looked coldly towards the finger-sized, black-colored little demon insect that was pleading for mercy and said, "I would like to ask you, you just mentioned that you are of the black-boned bug clan. Are your people the second type of killing life form on the second layer of the Undersea Divine Palace? How many of your clan are present on this layer, and what is the battle power of the strongest among you?" Hearing Yi Chun's questions, the black-boned bug as long as a finger actually started haggling with Yi Chun as a human would. "If I tell my lord the answers, will you let me go?" This black-boned bug, with its exceptional wit, seemed as if a spirit insect had obtained human-like intelligence. Yi Chun had heard that it is very difficult for spirit insects to have such intelligence. The black-boned bugs, hidden within the mysterious undersea divine palace of the Beiming Divine Sea, had clearly shattered Yi Chun's understanding on this matter. "Let you go." At this point, Yi Chun also became greatly interested in this black-boned bug clan, speaking with a faint smile. "As long as you no longer attack any martial artist that enters the second layer, I will allow you to leave." "You can't let it go." True God Du Ling, standing nearby, changed color in fright upon hearing Yi Chun agree to let this terrifying demon insect go. Just because this young boy Yi Chun could block the attack of this demon insect didn't mean he could. If this demon insect attacked him again, he would most likely lose his life instantly. Therefore, upon hearing Yi Chun say he would let the demon insect go, True God Du Ling, fearful, immediately voiced his objection. However, his voice of opposition ceased abruptly when this black-boned bug, little demon insect, heard his objection and furiously glared at him with its small menacing eyes. And the indifferent glance Yi Chun cast his way made True God Du Ling dare not speak again. True God Du Ling realized that this early-stage heavenly saint youth obviously did not fear his first tribulation true God status. This early-stage heavenly saint youth was clearly not going to change his decision based on what he wanted. True God Du Ling dared not voice opposition anymore, and the other heavenly saints nearby dared not do so either. They all knew that the strongest person present was this early-stage heavenly saint youth, Yi Chun. Strength determined power, and clearly in their group, Yi Chun truly had the right to speak. They also believed that this youth, who had maintained a low profile until the real killing had started and then revealed his formidable strength, must have a way of dealing with these insects since he dared to let one go. When no one else raised any further objections, the black-boned bug saw its chance of survival increase greatly and quickly said to Yi Chun, "If my lord is willing to let me go, I will tell you everything I know." My lord asked if our black-boned bug clan is the second type of killing life form in the second layer of the Undersea Divine Palace. Indeed, apart from the Black Armored Beast clan, the only other group that specifically targets the martial artists entering the second layer of the Undersea Divine Palace is our black-boned bug clan. Our black-boned bug clan exists in all 10 folded spaces of this layer. Apart from a great number of black-boned bugs that are tasked with rearing the young and do not participate in the killings, each folded space has as many as 10,000 black-boned bugs involved in the slaughter. The strongest among the black-boned bugs has reached the 2 tribulations true God level. 10,000 black-boned bugs participating in slaughter. The strongest among the black-boned bugs has reached the 2 tribulations true God level. Hearing what the little demon insect black-boned bug had said, all the heavenly saints present took a sharp breath, and even True God Du Ling felt his scalp tingle. Such a number of terrifying insects could possibly annihilate all the heavenly saints, and might even kill many First Tribulation true gods. They had no idea how the other heavenly saints and First Tribulation true gods would be able to survive this dire slaughter, and if they couldn't encounter a powerful true god to assist them, and had no formidable means themselves, then perhaps those heavenly saints and First Tribulation true gods only had one path to death. At this time, Yi Chun noticed another layer of information in the words of the black-boned bug. The second layer has 10 folded spaces? Doesn't that mean that the hundreds of thousands of people brought into the Undersea Divine Palace would be distributed among these 10 folded spaces? That would mean that there are likely tens of thousands of people in each folded space, and probably 700 or 800, if not 1,000, true gods. Your adventure continues at novelbin.com. 10 folded spaces. It looks like the odds of encountering Jiang Yao, True Phoenix Mulan, and Divine Venerable Dragon Xian from the Divine Kingdom are going to be low. However, against a killing group of the 2 tribulations true God level, they should have ways to deal with them. Other heavenly saints will probably gather around true gods like us to deal with the crisis. After considering the situation in the other folded spaces of the second layer of the Undersea Divine Palace for a while, Yi Chen's gaze returned to the little demon insect black-boned bug pinched between his fingers. "Is there anything else you would like to ask, my lord?" The little demon insect black-boned bug kept its gaze fixed on Yi Chun, fearing that he would not let it go. Seeing Yi Chun looking at it again, it quickly spoke up first. Yi Chun did not expect the little demon insect black-boned bug to be so astute. He smiled and said, "Little demon insect black-boned bug, why has your clan appeared in the Undersea Divine Palace? And how did you come to possess such intelligence?" "My lord, we have been banished to the second level of the Undersea Divine Palace by a mysterious force. Our entire clan, as recorded in our clan annals, did not originally belong to this star domain. A mysterious force brought us into this star domain. After we were banished to the second level of the Undersea Divine Palace, our spiritual intelligence continuously awakened, exiled to the Undersea Divine Palace from another star domain." Yi Chun was greatly shocked to hear the black-boned bug little demon insect's answer. "Another star domain? Doesn't that mean the black-boned bug clan isn't originally from the barbaric wilderness continent star domain?" Yi Chun realized that the undersea divine palace might well be a natural divine calamity of this world, but from the words of the black-boned bug little demon insect, it seemed that transcendent beings were controlling all of this. Perhaps they were even adhering to this universal law of natural selection. What kind of being would have the power to banish a clan from another star domain to the barbaric wilderness continent star domain? It's likely that such a being's strength has reached an unimaginable level, possibly even more formidable than the East Territory King, the father of the little provincial princess, who has transcended the divine venerable realm. Yi Chen's heart was trembling. From the mysterious ice cave that likely made the divine Phoenix clan's heavenly Saint Dekong and others disappear, to the perilous undersea divine palace situated in the northern dark sea, chosen by the divine calamity, Yi Chun felt ever more the mystery of the universe. Above the barbaric wilderness continent and the minor spirit realm, clearly, the divine kingdoms were not the limit. Beyond the star domains of the divine kingdoms, there were endless other star domains, and endless unknown existences, unknown cosmic forces and transcendent beings. Yi Chun took a deep breath, his gaze at last returning to the black-boned bug little demon insect. I have one last question for you. Those murderous life forms in the lower levels of the undersea divine palace, were they also exiled from other star domains? Do you know their strength? The lower levels of the undersea divine palace? Upon hearing Yi Chen's inquiry, the black-boned bug little demon insect repeatedly shook its head. We don't know about the situation in the lower levels of the undersea divine palace. As if afraid that Yi Chun would not be satisfied with this answer, the little demon insect quickly added. However, judging from the records of previous openings of the undersea divine palace documented in our clan annals, there are 33 levels in the undersea divine palace, and every 11 levels constitute a tier of crisis. With each subsequent set of 11, the danger increases dramatically. The final 11 levels are so perilous that even higher-ranking true gods entering there are in extreme danger. Many who ventured into the deeper levels of the undersea divine palace were ultimately unable to withstand the threats and fled back to the upper levels to escape the calamity. Based on the information brought back by those adventurers, there are definitely incredible beings in the lower levels, including even those at the God King level. Beings at the God King level. Hearing the little demon insect's words, the other heavenly saints and true gods, including Yi Chun himself, all took a sharp intake of breath. If there truly were God King level beings, then perhaps even 9 tribulation true gods would stand no chance and would be left with no option but death. How, then, could one explore the undersea divine palace, and how could one search for the eye of creation and the eyes of the divine sea? Those God King level beings, I heard that many of them do not easily strike, and they all have many secrets. The little demon insect spoke again. Those used by the little demon insect made Yi Chun pause in surprise. Could it be that there is more than one God King level existence? With his heart continually shocked, Yi Chun eventually could only let out a long sigh. No matter what, one step at a time was the only way to navigate this undersea divine palace. After all, there was a year's time to explore, so first getting through the second level of the undersea divine palace was the priority. All right, I am satisfied with your answers, Yi Chun finally said to the slender black serpent-like little demon insect with transparent wings that he was pinching between his fingers. He nodded and declared, "As I promised before, I will spare you. However, if you go against what was said earlier and attack martial artists entering the second level again, you will most certainly die." "My lord, I wouldn't dare," the black-boned bug little demon insect declared, bowing repeatedly upon hearing Yi Chun's threat. Seeing the frightened appearance of the little demon insect, Yi Chun smiled lightly and nodded, his fingers gently opening. Upon seeing that Yi Chun had indeed spared it, the little demon insect instantly shrieked with joy, and with a bow that resembled that of a human to Yi Chun, it wrapped its translucent wings around itself and disappeared from the scene. Had this formidable young man, Yi Chun, truly spared the little demon insect? Fearing that the little demon insect might suddenly launch a sneak attack, the other heavenly saints and even true god Du Ling gathered closer to where Yi Chun was standing. After a long while, upon seeing that no danger had befallen them, They all breathed a sigh of relief. At that moment, Yi Chun said out loud, "Let's go." After speaking, he took the lead and flew forward. The rest of the group, all the heavenly saints, and even true God Du Ling hurriedly followed behind Yi Chun. Before, everyone had to follow the arrangements of Liao Hua True God and True God Du Ling. But now, even True God Du Ling was following Yi Chen's commands.